Get on the fucking internet.
Online.
I push the fucking button. It's fucking start. Now I'm going kind of basking. Fucking start.
What?
I don't know.
Get the fuck out of here with that. There's one accent that's banned, and that's it.
You fucking podcast. Hey, Internet.
Hey.
Ooh,
Woo. Hey, what's up, Internet?
Woo!
Saucy.
Woo.
How you living, motherfuckers?
That is what I am saying.
Both how they're living and their noses are long.
It's a phantom woo.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, Ric Flair.
Phantom woo.
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 Woo, bitch.
Woo.
Get out the way. Get out the way, bitch. Get out the way. Show me that stream.
Oh, you already tweeted, man.
I tweeted it.
Holy
Chuck.
shit.
All over it. Just
I
boom.
was ready to go. I was like, I know what this is going to be. Do it. BMFcast.
Yeah.
You really-
Going to talk about the bandits and the BMFcast.
I'll tweet this. Tweet it on the internet.
BMX bandits.
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 BMXcast. Bandits. Bandits.
Bandits.
Bandits. Bandits like Beckham.
Yep.
Ah, that was
I
great.
love that my
great
brain was
fun.
exactly thinking that as you were saying it.
Smeaky and the Bandits.
Yeah.
Bandits cast.
Bandits.
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 Jonathan Bandits.
Christ almighty.
Yes.
Yes.
I like you being crikey.
Crikey on Mikey.
Jesus crikey.
Crikey, said Mackie.
One.
It's a podcast.
My name is Mickey.
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 Hello.
Jeez Mickey.
Hello.
BJ.
Hey, Jeez Mickey.
Jack.
Jack.
Check, please.
Yeah.
Check.
No, we went from 2 to 1. Someone got
All
offended.
right. Yeah.
Yes.
Boy.
So it was like, what the? Oh, no.
This is our
Oh, they're doing accents. Fuck out of here.
long realized
That
plan.
person's like, not this way.
Yeah.
Not today.
Yeah.
Neither again.
This is offensive.
This is not me hill to die on.
Oh, no.
Oh my god. It was,
Oh, I don't appreciate cultural
probably Cal.
appropriation.
It was probably Cal. And he was like,
It was like, fantastic. Finally, my country represented
and he's
Jesus
like,
fuck.
He's like, I'm blicking all of them.
Fuck those guys.
Minkies.
You're all blicked.
Unsubscribe.
Unlike.
Dislike.
Unrate.
Patreon.
Unreview.
And
Cancel.
review. Unsubscribe.
Blocked on Twitter.
Report.
Give someone else my dollar due.
On the Patreon.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Patreon.
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 It's a Patreon.
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 Dish. Dish.
Dish.
Dish. Right. Dish. Patreon.
What the fuck
I'm
is
so
wrong with
sorry, everyone. I'm so sorry.
You are not sorry.
I do believe there's one thing we're all forgetting, and that's the babe. Babe.
Nope. Not
Hot Australian babe.
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 BMFcast.
There's some
Weird,
more,
weird.
there's some more beef on the barbie.
Some more beef on the BMFcast.
BMFcast.
Walla beef.
All right, there it is.
Yeah.
That's the winner.
Beef.
Walla beef.
It's on Facebook. It's the Walla beef. And I'm spent.
Yeah, no more accents.
No more accents. Accents.
Save it for the show.
Oh, I am.
Right?
No, I'm saving it for never.
Saving it for the BMFcast.
Beef. When all Moana.
Accent.
What you talking about? We don't have an accent.
We don't have accents. It's all on now.
Yeah. These are actually all speaking voices.
These are our natural speaking voices.
Yeah.
We're just faking it the rest of the
Yeah.
time.
We've been pretending to be Americans.
We got real good American accents.
We're like all them blokes on Walking Dead.
Yeah. Right.
Walking Dead.
Yeah, Walking
Dead.
Zombies.
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead.
I swear he's always doing the southern accent because it's the easiest one to fake.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Cockney accent. It's the easiest one to do when you're
Yeah.
going British.
Yep.
You just mumble.
Yeah, you mumble a lot.
You just
And it's so tight.
and
Yeah,
you
like,
put it
oh,
online.
here's your moon.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, it's an American. Oh, lordy me.
Feels so good. Use a right accent.
Lordy me, that's an American over there. Hell I be.
Hail.
I've been
Oh, what?
watching me foghorn leg on.
Fag It's fag-on.
I do declare.
Big horn.
Big-on, dag-on.
Big horn.
Big one.
I see.
I'm a chicken dog.
Chicken.
Oh, I've heard that before.
Yeah.
Oh, I have.
I believe I said that to you the other night. You chicken.
Chicken hook.
A manual cat was a real percent who was very rarely
No. Is an Australian offend that offensive?
Do they?
It's an
Is it
Australian.
offensive to you?
Fucking hell. Sorry, thinking is.
As the show's resident Australian.
Get better at it. if you're gonna
What
do that.
fucking planet's Australia was that?
I demand that you do the rest of the podcast in that voice. I demand it. I will make you leave the room if you don't.
As the resident Australian expert, I'm very offended.
Oh my god. Yeah, so that's BMX Bandits.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
I do. We're not the least bit Australian or good at doing it.
It's pretty good.
I love when they start off okay and then they just go horribly wrong.
Yep.
They're like riding a bike down a hill and then suddenly you're like, oh no, I'm going too fast, I can't tell you.
It's like sometimes when you're called on the spot, like do a thing you do,
Yep.
and it's
Yeah.
like you just fail horribly.
Yeah.
Like I actually used to do a pretty good Paul McCartney once upon a time, and I was like, yeah, because I was like, I ran off like, like doing Schwarzenegger and. You know, slow and everything, and then it was like, oh, I can do Paul McCartney too. And it was like, hello, I'm Paul McCartney. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with me? That's the worst thing I've ever done. I'm Paul McCartney. Put all this shrimp on the Barbie.
Yeah. Well, Paul McCartney, you just have to talk to you got marbles in your mouth.
Yeah. He's got the sing-songy
Yeah,
thing
you
going
got
on.
to-
Yeah.
You got to go down here.
Yeah, you go up here, and then you're down there. And go up the apples and pears, and there you are.
And the little diggly do.
Yes.
The fuck? Do we kill you? Are you okay?
Yeah, you're gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Well then, good show, guys.
Yeah, I am ready for jokes now.
Yeah. Let's not be funny for the rest of this whole
Jokey
thing.
time.
And breathe.
Collect my wheats.
I'm trying to keep it together here.
It's not happening.
Wheats?
Wheats.
Yeah, your wheats.
Yeah.
Oh, your wheat thins.
Yeah, my wheats.
Alright.
Oh, man, oh, man.
Cool. Blimey.
Chuck, your Australian accent is almost as good as my Sylvester Stallone.
I don't know.
Oh, I do. Hey, Chuck. Are you from Australia?
Sly?
Hey, Rocky.
It's like he's in the room with you.
It is. It was. Oh,
It's uncanny every time.
Keeney.
I think I ruined my voice
Indeed.
laughing.
Keeney.
Hey, keep ringing that bell. Got me, Mickey. Danger, First Blood. Yeah, we killed BJ, everybody.
Yeah,
Good job. High fives all around.
I think I collapsed a lung.
Did you?
I think so.
Oh,
Working on one lung.
yeah. With your holy stomach, that's not good.
Yeah, no, that's
Collapsed
bad.
lung and holy stomach.
Yeah,
It's my 90s industrial band.
this Fallen Fox. All right. Damn.
14 minutes before I can't speak.
All right. Damn. All right. Damn. Teak.
Masters of improv and accents right here.
Oh yeah.
And then. Yes, and.
All right, shall we do a podcast?
Oh, we should. I'm so ready to.
We
actually,
already did all of the podcasts.
podcast. We should just rate the movie.
We just did 20 minutes of BMX Bandits.
yeah.
Great accents.
Yes.
Perfect accents.
Exits.
Sport on.
Man.
Accents so good for the locals.
I'm spent.
Yeah. Whoo. Anyway.
Anyway,
All right, welcome to the BMFcast.
Beefcast.
and I
Episode 417.
17.
17?
It's
It's
starting
a
early.
number.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm Harlow.
I'm Mackie.
Oh, I'm BJ.
I'm Chuck.
And what we do each and every episode of the BMFcast is we go and we watch ourselves a quote-unquote bad movie. Come in here and talk about it for the Fazul.
Yep.
Let's run through all of them.
Yeah. So what we do each and every episode of the BMFcast is we go and we watch ourselves a quote-unquote bad movie. Come in here and talk about it for the first half, and then we rate them good bad movies, enjoyable bad movies. They get 1 to 5 jocks as robot jocks.
Yay.
Robot Jocks.
Robot.
Jocks.
We like robots.
Jacks. However,
I don't know how to say Robot Jocks in an Australian accent.
rabbit jocks.
Robert Jokes.
Robert jocks.
Robot Jicks.
Robert Jacks.
However, there are bad movies as to stay away. They get a negative sliding scale, 1 to 5 bags and trash bags in which we want to put them.
Yes.
Throw them out.
Yeah. Chuck 'em.
Garbage.
Garbage.
Chicken.
Straight garbage.
Yeah.
So, if you can't tell from our wonderful spot-on accents here, we watched
Accents.
an Australian picture.
We did.
BMX Bandits from
Yeah.
1983.
Yeah.
Most probably known because it was one of those things they began to show when Nicole Kidman got famous as like, hey, check out stars before they were famous, and they made movies in these countries that aren't the United States,
What?
kind of thing.
Her first movie.
Yeah, I mean, she did several things that year, but this is like
Yeah.
the one. It's like, hey,
Also,
introducing Nicole Kidman.
her first BMFcast appearance.
It is. It is.
Whoa, how is that
Ask it
possible?
when Nicole Kidman.
Wonder how it's possible.
But really, we watched it more because of the director, Brian Trenchard Smith,
Right.
is a BMFcast alum in Stunt Rock.
Stunt Rock.
Right.
And also Aztec Rex.
Aztec Rex.
Somehow.
And Crash and Burns
Oh, he did that
as
too?
the second unit action
Oh, that's
coordinator.
that's
Right, you're right. Yeah. Okay.
Why? Oh, why'd you remind me of that?
Good call there.
Yeah. Crash and Beans.
Great call.
Beans.
So let's get a very quick plot summary for this here movie, and then we'll continue to annoy you with bad accents. Two BMX expert bikers and a friend of theirs become entangled with a group of bank robbers after discovering a carton of walkie-talkies.
Hey, robbed a bank.
I robbed a
They
bank.
robbed a... Not a bank.
A bank.
They
A
did
bink.
not-
A bink.
Bink.
Now, careful, you don't stray over into South Africa and ooh, fucking creature.
You
fucking BMX bandits.
But you blick.
Oh,
Right.
man. Yeah. There's not much plot to this movie.
No,
There really isn't.
as that I just said is pretty much the plot of this. I mean, we are treated to some BMX action happening
BMX.
over the credits. You know, they're gearing up to do some BMX in public.
Two
The
kids,
push bikes.
PJ and Goose.
PJ.
PJ.
And Goose.
Goose.
Geese.
They're
Goose.
riding their BMX bikes, having a good time doing
They're
some stunts.
stunting.
Yeah. But simultaneous, there's some bank robbers gearing up to do their thing. The bandits, if you will.
They are the
Bandits.
bandits.
And yeah, they basically we'll focus on them because the BMX guys are just stunting
Yeah,
around.
Yeah, they
Um,
are. Yeah.
And the bandits are basically create a drive-through in a bank.
Yeah.
jump out wearing pig masks and one
Pig masks.
wolf mask.
As in they
mask.
drive through the front window of
They
a
do,
Yeah.
yeah,
in their hot van.
a little combi.
And then they have a plan because there's another guy in another car. I think he's the one with the wolf mask on. Perhaps, I don't know. But there's supposed to be 3 wolves and 3 pigs and a wolf. There's another pig driving the getaway car.
Yeah.
But they rob the bank, jump in this car, leave the van like in the bank.
Right.
They're like, get away in this shitty car.
Yeah.
And then they do a switch midway. Like
do.
another like a nice car pulls up. They had gotta be a flim. But like a nice car pulls by, they do a bag switch and then just ditch the car.
Yeah. And they go back to the hideout.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they-
and at some point they almost run over our
They do.
BMX
BMX
Yeah.
stars.
bandits.
Which causes them to do some stunts, and then
Yeah.
gets the local constable like, "Hey, get your push bikes out of here,
You
you
kids. With your beats.
Whatever."
We're going all over the English world
Yeah,
with,
it is pretty much.
with our accents.
Yeah.
We don't, as Americans, have very good command of the language, so we do what we can. But yes, so that kind of like constable's like, "Ooh, daddy, kids."
Yeah. And they're kind of stunting around this outdoor mall, and there's a fat kid fucking with some shopping carts that Nicole Kidman is trying to wrangle.
Yeah, a fat kid who gets a fat kid theme,
He does.
appropriate, like
Yeah, it's a
like keyboard theme.
Yeah.
The
The 80s score will always settle down and just become fat kid theme, and it's just like, oh, God, here he is. But yeah, he's just fucking with carts to mess with Nicole Kidman, and like he pushes some out into the parking lot, and she's like, oh no, and then the BMX kids crash into them and fuck up their bikes, and the store manager just comes over and is just like, Nicole Kidman, you're fired.
Yeah, like, we don't even know her. It's just an accident.
Yeah,
It's
he's like, oh, you kids know each other.
yeah.
You kids with your hanging out.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
But they mentioned, she seems like, oh, I guess she's probably off camera. She must have said something like, oh, something bikes, and they're like, oh, BMX. And
Yeah.
So they become friends.
Right.
Like, oh, now we have to scheme and get money to fix these BMX bikes, and get you one.
Yeah, 'cause
so
they're
we can
like-
all be a gang.
They're
of
like-
BMXers.
Me bikes. They're
Yes,
all
yes. Oi, me bikes.
Yes, me bakes.
they're all fucked up. Yeah, so they're like, well, how are we going to get money to be BMXers again? What do we do? And then
So
apparently-
we see that the back of the hideout, the bandits are talking about, okay, good score. Here's your cut, everybody, because the boss guy comes in and the organizer all this.
they got really generous cuts of that score.
Yeah.
I thought 15% apiece, and there were 5 of them.
yeah. And then
seems
he's
about
like,
right.
right away,
That's 40% finder's fee for the boss.
the boss.
Yeah, the Kevin Spacey and all this.
Yeah.
Baby driver,
Yeah,
baby BMXer.
It's weird. This is all very Baby Driver-esque
Right.
because like he's like, all right, we got to hit another one right away while the stealing's hot. So we're gonna do this, and here's the model of the car we're gonna use, and you're gonna take this other car and you're gonna drive it into there.
Yeah, you're gonna Knight Rider this van up
Yeah.
into this other bigger van,
and you're all gonna get $250,000.
And it's a payday heist. He's
Yeah.
like, yeah,
It's like they had a especially good week this week. I'm like, that's not how paydays work. That's
Yeah, but he,
everyone worked overtime, so
don't
now there's
know.
so much money in them.
yeah, and he's like, well, the score is $250,000.
Dollary
And-
dues.
And then he goes, H.
Each, and they're all like, woo!
Yeah.
In Australian accent.
because one guy's
They're
like,
pumped about 250
Whoa.
grand.
one guy's like, oh, what do we need to pull another job for? We got money. He's like,
Yeah.
this is worth it, and it's once in a lifetime. However, how we're gonna do it? We're gonna do all this, but the van is, he says, radio controlled, which makes you think it's like a radio controlled car, but
Yeah.
it's not. It's
No.
they have a special, police frequency walkie-talkie.
He's like, I got these from America.
Yeah, and he's got one. He's like,
You from the
he's
US
like,
of A.
we can hear what they're saying, but they can't hear us.
Yeah, and they're all like, "Mwah, nothing can stop us now. Mwah."
So they're getting this crate of walkie-talkies while the BMXers are plotting, how are we going to make money?
They're not really plotting anything. They just become friends over pizza or whatever in the little snack bar that they go to, and then they're just out. They're like, let's go boating, and
Well, no, they had a plan for the boating.
but yeah,
They were
it was
gonna
to
go
steal
collect-
seafood.
Not steal seafood. They were going to harvest seafood.
Okay.
Free-range
Well,
seafood.
Other people's seafood.
Yes.
Stealing
OPS.
lobster traps is most definitely stealing.
Yeah.
Well, that was what they thought
Yeah.
they might
Well, first
do
they went to go
once-
get barnacles.
Well,
Not barnacles. They're oysters.
oysters, yeah.
Oh, okay,
You might not have
Oysters.
recognized.
I couldn't understand.
The barnacles you
yeah.
ate.
I'm bad with
Barnacles.
accents. I can't.
Barnacles.
The barnacles, they might have a pail in them.
What?
A pail.
A pail?
A pail.
Pale?
pail?
See, I'm bad with
You
accents.
make a pail.
No,
That's probably a very authentic Australian accent,
necklace
and
of
to me,
butter.
it's just I don't know.
it's pronounced peril.
Oh, pail.
Pail.
Peril?
Yeah, they're in peril.
Peril.
Right, they're going to be in peril, but not
Bucket
yet.
necklace, and
yes.
they're in a pail.
Okay, so they go to get oysters, and they're like, these oysters are too small. We must go to another pier and get better oysters. So they drive over to this bigger pier, basically, and they're just like, hey, a string, let's pull it.
Yeah, let's see what's on the other end.
And it's just
Well,
like,
they think it's going to be a lobster trap.
yeah, they're like,
And he's-
hey, you know, the
$10 dues a kilo. A kilo
Okay,
rent.
no.
law of the sea says if you find something in the water, it's yours. Even
Yeah,
if it's,
yeah, if it's abandoned. And
Yeah.
she's like, well, this ain't abandoned.
It ain't abandoned. Oh, they're from South Australia.
Maybe a dingo ate the abandoned.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, they pull it up, and it's a crate, and they're like oi, this is...
let's take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, like, okay, so
They're like, it's treasure.
Treasure.
Take this treasure.
yeah, lobsters. So
Yeah, when you go against your own country, it's treason.
A lobster treasure.
lobster treasure. Tastes good with some butter.
Oh, yeah, butter. Maybe
But-
make a chowder.
But they take this crate
They do.
that's still like bundled up,
Yeah.
and they don't know what it is,
Yeah.
and it's wrapped in like a a canvas plasticky thing, some waterproof stuff, and they're just like, all right, score.
And like out in the water, basically the crew of bad guys has been narrowed down to two dudes. It's a dude named Whitey who just has dyed blonde hair.
He looks like Sting,
Yeah,
as in the police,
like Sting and
not
Flea.
I was going to
had
say
a baby.
Flea. Yeah, like Flea when he
Yeah.
was blonde, Flea.
And this guy literally named Mustache because he has a one.
He has a one?
He has a one.
Well, he has like a pencil. Like
He has
John
a one
Waters.
mustache.
He has
He
a
has
John
a-
Waters mustache.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
a mustache.
but like Mustache pulls up in this fucking rad boat. Like it's got like a fucking Grim Reaper pirate on the front of
No,
it.
it's like a
skulls and-
barbarian. It's
what?
like a Conan. Like barbarian.
I'm sorry. I'm bad with accents. I can't understand what you're saying.
Barbarian.
Batmanian? What?
A veterinarian?
Yes. Yes.
Conan the Batmarian?
Barbarian.
Are you talking about the elephant babar or
I am.
Wait,
He's a
Batmanian?
pachyderm.
Picadam? Barbarian.
The basketball coach? Jerry Batmanian?
No.
Oh. All right then.
No, it's a barbarian,
Oh,
Chuck.
okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
You just
had
gotta
an
say
axe.
it.
I think it was stepping on a skull as well.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
this
it's
thing-
fucking chrome pipes and everything. It's,
Like when you see one of those old muscle cars with the engine sticking out the front?
Yes.
This is the
This is the
boat,
boat.
version of that,
Yeah.
but like the engine is the entire back end of the boat.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the boat is like 12 feet long.
Yep.
The engine is 6 feet of that. It's
And
fucking
So
insane.
the best part about Whitey and Mustache are that they're obviously stuntmen
Whitey
too.
and Mustache.
Yeah.
Sundays
So like they're
on
just
CBS.
they're the top two billed people, and it's obviously like, okay, these are stuntmen like having lead roles because
Yeah.
our first introduction when they get on the boat, he's stepping all over the art and stuff, and barely gets into like the passenger seat, and this dude just guns it. So this guy just face plants.
Well, he's carrying like a
yeah,
cooler,
yeah.
and he's facing the seat. And when the other dude guns it, he goes head first into the cooler, then into the seat, and he's just like, "Oh, what?" And so that's just his character from here on out.
He goes,
oh yeah, baby.
oh,
Yeah, I think
yes.
is what he said.
Right, that was an accent.
Yeah, oi, baby's kids or something. I don't know.
Yes, oi, baby's kids, baby's
Yeah,
kids,
baby.
baby.
Yeah, but when they're going to, they basically pass.
Yeah. And the
kid-
kids are all like,
the kids-
"Hey, sweet boat! Hi guys!
Yeah.
That's you guys are awesome!"
and they pull up, and this dude is still like stunting away on the front of the boat because he's like
surfing on the
it's
front of it.
rocking, and,
Yeah.
and it's like kind of like you can tell he's kind of trying to get his footing
Yeah.
because the water's a little choppier than he expected.
Yeah.
But then he starts playing it off by just dancing as he's doing it.
And Mustache is like, "You want to not? You need to? Hey, don't!" And then like they hit the pier, and he just tumbles over. He's like, "I told you, you
Yeah,
idiot!"
he almost falls out of the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, he gets
They
on the
pull
pier.
the rope up,
Yeah.
and nothing's there, and it must have been those kids.
There's kids. Yeah. Just like instant. Like at first he's like, "What did you do now?" And he's like, "I didn't do anything. It was the kids. So let's go get them."
I love that there's a harbor full of people, and they're like, that one boat we passed, obviously it was them.
Oh, obviously, because they
Well, they
passed
must
them.
have, I think they saw it leaving that particular dock.
Yeah.
Sure, close, I guess. I don't know. It just seems like
Yeah.
there's a big assumption here.
Yeah. So chase.
Chase, yes.
They go chasing after them. But the kids don't know they're being chased. They just go back to
No, they're just like, oh, we got whatever the hell this is, because they don't even know what they have. They just have a box. And
Yeah,
they're
they're
like, oh
like-
man, let's get to our hideout and unpack this and see
we'll
what we
open it
got.
up. Yeah, and they open it up, and
Oh, walkie-talkies.
they're like walkie-talkies. All right, let's sell them.
Well, they decide to test them first.
Oh yeah, they have
And,
to go to.
and as they're testing them,
Yeah.
the police start hearing them.
Yeah.
But apparently they're only transmitting one way,
Right.
and so the police are like,
Get off this channel.
Yeah.
which is weird because they made a
"This
point
is
about-
our channel."
They made a point of the boss guy made a point of saying you got to get these radios. We got to modify them so that they're only one way.
Right.
But they appear to be that way already.
Right. But in the backwards way.
They're
like-
backwards, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so the cops could hear everything that they're saying. They just
Yes.
they just
They
can't hear
couldn't
the
hear the
cops.
This is a
Pops.
Which
weird
is
thing
the
to sell
worst.
because, like, you know, you can buy a police band radio, like newspapers and stuff have that. But
Yeah.
why would you have a police broadcast thing?
I don't know. None of this makes any sense.
They were I think they were just selling them as walkie-talkies. They were just
Sure,
like,
yeah.
oh, it's a walkie-talkie.
yeah, between them they can talk, but they can't hear the police talking.
right,
or
but they
something.
don't. But they don't even know.
Right.
They,
Right.
they
I know.
they have no idea it's a police band anything because
It's
they
the
can't
other
hear the
side of
police.
the earth.
Right.
Right.
That's why the plan doesn't
water
make
goes
sense
down the
because-
wrong
Yeah,
way.
it's
Yeah,
upside
they-
down.
they
yeah.
just-
So the waves, the Coriolis
Yep.
effect makes the radio
Right.
waves.
Yeah, thank you.
Walkie-talkie.
I just needed science to
technology
explain this.
Yes.
Had
All right.
not reached them yet.
Right?
So they just like let's sell them. So they do.
Yeah, so that they can make money for their
Yeah.
to fix up their bikes.
But they sell them at various prices and on various pricing plans.
I think they were going for $20 a piece.
Okay.
and then they're just like fat kid has money because he's always like, but
Yeah, my mom bought me a bike.
and look, I have a
Mm.
solar powered radio hat.
I'm eating all this ice cream.
I don't even try anymore.
Right. He does have a solar power radio hat.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. But
Yeah.
so
Kinda
they sell
jealous.
like 4 of them. And then it's just they go to the BMX store
And they get kitted out.
yeah, they
and they've like formed a gang. Like they become the BMX Bandits. They have like logo shirts and matching colors and,
And
all the
she
bikes are
adds in,
fixed.
like, they were red and blue.
Yeah.
PJ and Goose,
Goose.
were red and blue.
Right.
Now she's yellow.
Yep.
Judy's yellow.
She didn't own a bike. We don't even know if she has a home.
Probably not.
yeah, there is no home life for any of these kids.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, so she's got her bike now. And I will note that the cops, when they were listening in, they're like, they're calling each other. She's like, PJ, Goose, those are BMX terms.
BMX teams.
Oh yeah, there's the one
Sure.
hip bad
BMXs.
who's down with the lingo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so the cops know they should be looking for BMXers. That kind of never comes back up.
No, because they go and talk to all the wrong BMXers
Yeah.
and go, well, we're stumped, Chief. Chief.
Yeah. But yeah, so they've sold them off, and then it's time to watch Nicole Kidman's male stunt double do bike stunts.
Yes.
Some sick stunts.
Now, I want to say that Wikipedia, I was going to say that Australia, but I'm not going to,
Wikipedia.
says that she immediately broke her ankle. And so they had to get a stunt person for her, but there was no woman in Australia who could ride a bike, so they had to get a dude and put a wig on him.
That's a big country.
It is.
It's a continent, in fact.
It is.
Yeah. So I call bullshit.
Well, such as movies.
All right.
I'll also say before this all happened, they had the chase through the graveyard.
Yes, 25 minutes in a graveyard.
Yeah, there's a
Far
very
too
long
long in that
chase
fucking
scene.
graveyard.
Yeah.
And it's one of these things too. Like this is one of those. It's a movie aimed pretty squarely at kids.
Oh, yeah.
Because these kids never perceive that they're really in any sort of danger ever.
No, they're rather calm about everything.
Yeah,
They're more
even
spooked
though
out
the-
about being in a graveyard at night than they are about that two guys are chasing them potentially.
But they're never quite sure why they're being chased. I mean, they don't know they've crossed this gang or anything. They're walking down the street and they see a car go by, and the one of the idiots is like, that car is going to turn back and come get us, and everyone's like, shut up. And then the car turns around, they're like, they're coming for us, and then they just decide to run and hide. They don't know if they're cops. They don't know who these people are.
Yeah, and they put like goblin masks on and
Yeah.
chase them around. This, so it's like, ooh,
So it's-
spooky.
God, it's
'Cause
25 minutes. in
Because
this
it's also kind of filmed like a horror movie esque. Like the music changes to kind of. I mean,
do like music stings for fake scares and
Well,
stuff.
because
and
they've
it's-
been telling each other stories about horror movies they've
Right.
watched, which are all just made up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's a very long scene that
It's-
basically shows that Nicole Kidman kind of has interest in both of them.
Sure, she likes them both.
Because she flirts with the one, but then he's like, "Oh, you don't like me, you like the other guy." And
Yeah, slip her a kiss.
He does. He kisses her and then goes in for another one, and she just immediately turns her head like, "Nah, I don't think so." And then she
Your themes
apologizes.
aren't strong enough.
Yeah.
yeah, but they get away.
Yeah, but
it is a
okay,
very long scene.
It is, but there's like one tiny bit of this that I found interesting is when they're trying to talk to each other in the cemetery on the walkie-talkies, and he's like, "I can't." One of the kids is like, "I can't hear you. Your signal's not good." And he pulls out the antenna right as one of the dudes is behind him, and just fucking pokes that guy in the eye. That's the best bit of any of this.
Yeah.
The rest of it is just wasting time in a cemetery.
And
they
then
were like,
there's the classic. There's the drunk guy outside who is like, and like
they don't use that guy right at all.
But like he's just kind of like stumbling outside the graveyard, so he sees kids running past, like,
Yeah.
and then the goblin dudes come over. He's like, like, what? And yeah,
and he just
Pours
pours
them
out
up,
his.
yeah.
He's like, "I'm
Yeah.
never drinking again." Yeah.
so they saved that guy's life. Good.
Yeah.
Good job, BMX
Yeah,
Bandits.
good.
Way to
good-
go.
Good job. Got that guy off the sauce.
Doing a public
Skid
service.
So be.
Yeah. So okay, then it's the next day they go and become the BMX Bandits by
Purchasing
buying their
things.
shirts with their pre-made
Yeah.
logos and color coordination. They go around, they stunt all over the
Well,
place.
it's pretty much Nicole Kidman's stunt double because they're just like, hey, can you even ride?
Yeah.
bro.
and she's like, "Can I ride?
Why, yes, I can.
Watch this."
Yes.
And then becomes a dude, and then
Yeah, with a wig,
yes,
and and
I believe
It's a
they call
kid,
it
man.
Yeah.
and they fall in love with her
Sure.
because she's doing stunts.
yeah, they're like, "Wow, she's fantastic." I mean, so she's like just stunting around all over the place. They've just got their bikes flipped upside down like every kid in the 80s with a BMX bike, just fucking tinkering with shit. You know, it's like, "Oh, we got to repair the wheels and put the ball bearings in." You know, it's all ball bearings.
Did you ever own a bicycle, Chuck?
I've seen them in catalogs.
Me too.
Yeah,
See
they-
his catalog.
They were called penny farthings when he was a kid.
Yeah, you know.
That's why he could never ride one. Look at his height.
yeah.
He couldn't climb up that
I
big
could
wheel.
get up on that.
They were called the future.
He saw them at the World's Fair one year.
The 1939 World's Fair. Come see the Whirling Dervish
And Chuck.
this fall on the Dumont Network.
Yeah. But is this the point where they basically are like, all right, cool, we're stunting. Now what?
Well, so
And-
okay, so Nicole Kidman's out stunting around doing her own thing while they're fixing their bikes, listening to tunes, and so she gets accosted by them. Like,
Yeah, she goes like back to a boat.
she goes back to
dock
where
or
they
something.
had stashed the things to
Okay.
begin with, and then like the two guys chase her in there, and they're like, "Hey, we're the police. You're gonna give us those things back, and then we'll let you go. No big deal." And she's like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah.
Yeah, she plays stupid, like, oh, well, just pick the apples, and you know,
And,
it's like,
and she
what?
ends up clicking on the radio, hoping that the
Yeah.
guys will hear her, but they're also playing a radio, as
Right.
in an FM radio, so they don't hear anything that's going on with her.
I-
but the cops do.
Yeah, I love the spatial geometry on this one because this radio is behind her,
Yeah.
and they're off in a corner whispering so that she can't hear, but the radio is picking it up. It's like
These are powerful radios.
apparently,
Yeah.
Also, again, it's
Kids
the
movie.
other side of the world.
Yeah, oh, sure,
Yeah,
Sound
Thing-
works
things-
different when it's upside down.
right, okay,
it's different.
Right. The Coriolis effect
Yep.
and the
Yeah, sound goes
upper level
counterclockwise.
winds. And, you know, typhoons
Uh-huh.
go backwards
Right.
in the southern hemisphere.
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's why.
Oh, and all the barriers are around Australia, like the reef,
Right.
You know,
Yep.
so,
Yeah.
yeah,
Keeps the sound in.
yeah.
So
Great.
Short,
Yes.
They have great white noise.
Yeah, the waves are short
Right. Sure.
Yes.
but tall.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's all about
Yeah.
frequency.
It sure
What's the
is.
frequency? I don't know. Anyway,
So,
well, yes.
anyway,
Oh, we're gonna play some Wii.
anyway,
Play the Wii.
Oh,
Wii U.
yeah, they eventually she kicks
we-
one. She kicks one of them.
Yep.
And kind of runs upstairs, and while the other one chases her, and
yeah. She does finally is like, help, help! I'm here, and you've got to come. So they do finally hear her cries for help before she kicks the dude.
Yes.
So they go,
But they're on the
speeding up.
other side of town. And the cops have also heard this, and they're like,
yeah, they don't know what to look for.
Yeah, it's
but
like, we
they
should
know that
find
something's
these-
going on.
find these kids.
Yeah, and she ends up just going on this kind of like this chase through the docks, and she ends up on a boat and like running through this houseboat, and the other guy and Whitey is chasing her through there, and she gets back out, gets to the end of the dock, hops on a rowboat and is like,
Haha.
yeah,
I have
Smell you,
fled.
smell you later.
Yeah.
later suckies. And
What?
but she starts rowing away,
Yep.
forgetting that the boat is still tied up to the dock.
Yep. She's like, ah, shucks.
Yeah, yeah.
Aye, she's a bit of a dinghy-back.
Yeah. But
So they start reeling her in,
Yeah.
just laughing at her.
but the other two kids have shown up.
And I kind of wish that at some point they had shown her trying to row against them pulling her in, but they never do.
No.
But the other guys have shown up on the dock.
One has a spear.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. You know
It's a boat hook.
yeah, the
I
boat
know.
hook.
Yeah.
A boat hook, and then they grabbed a fire extinguisher on their way, too.
Yes. And so one just is going to joust right at him at one of the bad guys, and the other that guy's just like, nah, fuck it,
Yeah.
I'm jumping in the
I'm
water.
not
Well,
taking-
the one
I'm not
guy
taking
goes-
a boat hook.
The one guy goes, they'll stop.
Yeah.
And he goes, he's not
You're
stopping.
not stopping. Yeah. So
And
one guy
he
jumps
ends
in the
up
water,
diving in.
didn't want to get stabbed.
The other one gets fire extinguishered into the water.
Right. And then they're in the water, and they just throw empty crates at them for half a second, saying things like, yeah, get out of here. And you guys stink. And
I hope you drown.
yeah,
I hope you die screaming.
you're villainous.
The best thing about this is, like,
A watery grave.
I don't remember exactly what the circumstance was, but the whitey dude, at something, I don't know if it was when he pulled up the empty rope or whatever, but there was something when he went, oh, I poop. Like, I mean, it's just, it's
It was
pretty,
at one point where they skidded the car or some point,
Yeah.
and they were not prepared to start driving or something.
it's just, it's funny because,
Yeah.
like, they're, with accents saying, dumb
Ah, poop.
kids villain lines.
Yeah, poop.
Poop.
Yeah.
Poop.
Yeah, because later he will tell Nicole Kidman, "You're into poop now."
That was your best so far.
Much better.
Thank you very much.
No.
Yeah, so this just they don't. It's not like they've thwarted them. This just
No.
delays them 12 seconds because
To which begins a 45-minute chase sequence.
yes, pretty much yes.
And this is like a 90-minute movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This goes on a while, a long, long while. It's not bad. It's not boring or anything. I mean, there's like child's movie stunts going on here
Yeah.
where no one's particularly getting injured.
I think we're skipping the biggest stunt spectacular of the movie, though. When we kind of skipped over, like, yeah, they tested the radios. There's more that occurs then because they go to like three corners around the city.
That was during a second test.
Was
That
it?
that the construction workers became a part of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought it was when they first were like, all right, go to three different corners, and it was
Well,
weird bits where
It's actually when they're interrogating her.
is it?
When the guys are interrogating her, they're saying, like, all right, should we
Oh,
do it?
okay.
Let's
Yeah,
do
yeah.
it now.
Right.
And
Right.
what's basically the setup is that all these construction people are doing stuff, and the guys
They're
are like,
also
when I
heavy-
yell at you on the radio,
Yeah.
do now.
When I say now, you
Drop it
drop
now.
the thing,
Yeah.
the big heavy thing.
Yeah.
So
So but yes, there's the guy with a crane. He's got a big piece of metal hovering, like this asshole foreman dude had like come out and yelled at a dog.
get away from
Like,
my car,
know,
you mangy.
like, get away from my freshly clean car, which
Yeah.
it was like a shitty station wagon. We know,
Yeah.
and-
Pontiac.
But like, this thing guy is like, hurry up and don't drop it until I tell you now. And so like, of course, when they're like, tell us where the information is now. And he's
Now,
like,
see?
oh, now, and he
Oh, yeah.
pulls the thing and
He pulls the thing and immediately has a look like, oh fuck, I shouldn't have done that.
but not only does he drop it and crush this car is filled with all the gasoline.
Oh my god, like this, it's
He
8
had just
cars.
fueled up with like 3,000 octane.
Yeah, like filled the car, not just the tank, the car. Filled the car with gasoline, rolled up the windows. This thing drops on it, and I just,
This might as well have been the tanker truck in Fury Road.
yeah, I mean, this thing just goes up. And you're like, well, all right,
Yeah.
sure. But they're not done because, like, over somewhere else, they've got a bunch of chains hooked up to a building. And they're like, don't pull it till we say now. And then the guys say now and get on the radio. And they just pull this building down with everyone going, oh, God, no.
Yeah, everyone diving out of the way. But
Yeah.
yes, there was some random stunting
Random
that was
stunt
not,
spectacular
not car or
construction.
BMX related.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, there is a lot of them going down streets and cutting down alleys, and this 72 Ford or whatever it is chasing them.
It is a 72 Ford Galaxy LTD.
Nice.
I had to look it up because that car is fucking awesome.
That car
I
is a
love that
survivor.
car.
Yeah.
Yes,
That
that
car. Yeah, so, like, it's all kind of cartoonish, like, we're not trying to kill the kids.
Yeah,
Until-
because at one point he says, he's like, don't.
Well, like 30 minutes
like,
into
we
the
can-
chase, he's like, don't you think it's weird that we haven't hit the kids yet?
Yeah.
And-
But early on, he says, like, we can hit him.
Yeah.
We just can't kill him.
yeah. And then there's the running joke that Whitey desperately wants to drive, but he can't fucking do it. But given any opportunity to get behind the wheel, he will just giddily get behind the wheel and just fucking go. To which Mustache has to like dive through the sunroof like, you fucking idiot. What are you doing?
This is like part car to BMX chase, part foot to BMX chase. You know, it goes all over the place.
Water slides,
including a water park.
Yeah.
At one point, they're like they BMX into this water park, and they're just like, "Fuck it, we're taking our BMXs down this tube, fully enclosed tube slide."
3 water slides,
big tube slide.
They
too,
each take one
they
down.
Can fit a bike all the way in it.
Yeah, they go
not riding it.
No, they go head first with their bikes out in front of them.
It was built for Americans.
So, I don't really know what purpose this serves because the bad guys could have just run down to the bottom while they're down the tubes.
Well, I like that of the two of them, they send Mustache to chase him, which I said it's now a John Waters park.
Yes,
because
very
it's
good.
the 1-2 of them.
Yeah, and a fat kid just bumps that guy, and he just comically is just like, "Oh no, I'm slowly going down a water slide.
Yeah.
Oh heavens to Betsy!"
Yeah, he's really selling the zaniness of him being pushed down this wearing a suit.
But
Yeah,
and eventually they end up in a hangar. Like they somehow find they just know that this hangar is unlocked and it's an abandoned airplane hangar.
Yep.
And they stunt around this for a long time.
So
they get in and they're like, they won't find us in here.
They shut the. They've got like a barn door that they bar, and they're like, "All right, we're safe in here. They can't get in." And as soon as they say they can't get in, the car just explodes through the wall of this warehouse. And then it's 5 to 10 minutes of just stunting around this place until the kids decide.
Driving in circles and biking in circles.
Yes.
That's all that happens.
Whitey hang out the sunroof.
Yes, twirling, trying to stay facing forward and not doing well. But eventually the kids are like, we should just go through this office part and leave.
Yeah. And the whole crux of this chase is like this car is Jason. Like wherever they go, no matter what they do, somehow the car is immediately right behind them. No matter what they've done to stop it, to let it get stuck somewhere else.
Yeah, the
as
set
soon as they
piece-
turn the corner.
Yeah,
to the point where one of them's like, "Did we lose him?"
Yeah.
He's like, "I reckon we did." And then it turns the corner. It's right there. It's like, "Oh, I reckon not." And it keeps going on and on and on. And I appreciate that it has a variety of environments that they do it in. But it's kind of like, these are BMX bikes. And all you ever ride them on is the road where the car can get to you.
Yeah, because they're going down like stairs and
And I know it's a movie.
Sure.
We need to plausibly keep this car chasing them.
Yeah.
But there's a certain point where you're just like, all right, guys,
They even learned in E.T. If you want to lose them, go to the dirt roads and
Yeah.
stuff. But all right, so it's silly and it's a kids movie and these things go on far too long. I will say that there is some Brian Trenchard Smith flair going on.
Oh, absolutely.
Because there's cool cameras stuck on interesting parts of the bike. So you get pedal cam and foot cam, and then there will be shots where I'm guessing they had a glass plate because the bikes will literally drive directly over the camera.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the car will go right over the
They
camera.
do that in the warehouse a lot.
and we have not mentioned
5 or 6 shots in
Yeah.
the warehouse.
Yeah, and we have not mentioned that every time the bikes go over the camera,
Yeah.
there's a whoosh.
Yes.
Oh yeah, they all have a laser future sound.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to the future.
Yes.
Also, when
Man,
hitting
the
sweet
machine.
stunts, they
Yes,
get
there's
some
a whooshy sound.
sounds.
Yeah. So there was some on foot stuff where they're going down sidewalks and some movers get in the way, and it's just
Oh, the fat kid joins in at one point because they're going down the road and he's just
Yeah.
and he's got 2 ice cream cones and they walk by and each grab them.
yeah.
And,
Yes.
and he ends up running and slipping on a banana peel onto the ice cream cone, to which there's some kids standing by going, "Haha, you have ice cream on your butt."
Yeah. They laugh at him for a while.
And then he's like, "Ooh,
You-
I'll get you."
You
And
bandits.
so yeah, he joins in the chase for a little bit for kind of no reason, but
They're in a gravel pit at one point, which Harlow, you were like, "Oh man, here comes a sweet stunt," because the car was way up
Yeah.
and they were way down in this pit, but then all of a sudden the car is just where they are.
right.
Yeah.
And plus,
They go through
Whitey started driving, so it was
Yeah.
here's the guy that's just bumping into everything, and they literally go by some road pylons, metal ones, and they fall over like dominoes.
Yeah.
Dominoes.
And he,
Yeah, they go through a mall.
Yeah.
Where like into a shoe store where the guys are trying to chase them on foot while they're running bikes through
Yeah.
these
I mean,
all these stores in the mall.
lots of places, but yeah, that shot in the quarry or whatever, it's it just feels like, all right, here's where the big stunt is going to be, where this car just gets dropped
stunt.
and destroyed. But it doesn't. It's just
No.
it just Jason's down to the bottom of the quarry. It's like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
And eventually they just kind of get away because they sort of fucked up the car enough to make it start smoking.
Because it had crashed into something outside, and they're hiding in another warehouse amongst all the Castrol GTX cans, and they're like, "We better get used to these bars. We should go to the cops." And they're like, one of them's like, "No, if we go to the cops, we're going to have to get used to these bars."
But they decide to go to the cops.
Well, no, they don't, because what happens is the cops are like, "We've got this," and the cops go to the fat kid and are like,
Okay.
"Where'd you get that walkie-talkie?" And then they cut to the three of them are in the police station. The fat kid ratted them out.
Yeah, because they had been discussing doing it. But okay.
So we had not seen them come to a decision. It just cut away from them for like, let's see what the fat kid's up to. The cops are like, "Oi, where'd you get that?" And then all of a sudden they're in jail or they're in the prison.
And the sergeant's just immediately like, I'm going to let you go, but here's how you screwed up. You screwed up, right? Yeah.
Don't do this again. We're keeping these things. And they're like, "We have an idea on how to catch them."
Get out.
Because the cops are like, "Well, you need to pay for all this damage you did during your fucking stunting." And they're like, "Well, we have an idea how to pay for that." And he's like, "Not get out." And he's like, "But we can really," nope, outside. So as they're going on their way out, they're like, "Steal the walkie-talkies." So they steal the walkie-talkies, and it just becomes let's meet the trio. Let's meet all the bad guys.
Well, they go and plan with all the rest of the BMXers in town too, because they're like,
they've amassed an army.
they have a BMX army, and they arm them with bags of flour, and they're like,
"You know what to do, right?" And they're all like, "Yay, throw the flour!"
"Yeah,
And
we're gonna hand them an empty case. We're gonna trail them back. We're gonna set up a network of spies who radio back in with all of our cool radios that we stolen where they go, and then we're gonna attack them with flour." So they go to this meet, or they don't have a meet. They're just hanging around. They're like, "Man, they've been chasing us everywhere. Now that we want them to find us,
yeah,
they can't find us."
But they're immediately found.
And of course, the boss is with them now because he's like,
"You two nincompoops!
You have till noon. We got to do this job thing."
So they're like, "Give us that box, and also give us Nicole Kidman." And the two kids are like, "That wasn't part of the plan." And they're like, "Yeah, well, your plan is your children.
Yeah, your children, you suck.
Yeah, get out of here. We're taking Nicole Kidman. Go." And they're like, "What do we do?" And they should have said, "I don't know her," because they've known her a day.
Yeah,
They should have just been like, "Yeah, that's what you get. You shouldn't hang out with us. It's bad."
but they've been on an adventure.
Yeah. So anyway, they've all got Nicole Kidman now, and eventually they radio to figure out they're going to some dead end street somewhere, and they
Charge, army.
yeah, and they have like wrapped this case with so much wire, and Nicole Kidman is just bothering them the whole time.
Well, she's doing she's trying to tell the plot of a horror movie and distracting Mustache who's driving.
Yes.
And Whitey's just like, "Oh man, so much wire."
Yeah, I like that Mustache is into it because like the boss stops. He's like, I can't believe this. I can't believe what I'm hearing. And he's like, "I can't believe kids are allowed to watch this stuff.
Where
are their parents?"
It's weird that like the bad guys become all these darn kids and violent movies. This is the problem.
Yeah, but Mustache is like wants to hear how the movie ends.
He's like, "This is my only chance to hear how this ends."
Yeah.
But eventually Nicole Kidman just kind of goes, "Blah," and then he crashes the car, and they're like, "Okay, well, I guess we're getting out here in this dead end area." So they've met there's some garbage men. They're changing trucks into this different.
It should be noted that their plan somehow consists of, if we get the bad guys, the city will build us a BMX park.
Yeah.
because there was a reward.
Reward money.
So they wanted the reward.
Okay.
They will pay back. They'll be able to pay back what they
Pay the damages,
owe,
yeah.
pay back the damages, and then
and use the rest to build a BMX track.
Sure.
It's a
understood.
great idea.
It's Australia. That's in their charter.
Is
dollary
Yeah.
dues.
Yeah.
Yes.
With enough dollary dues,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they can buy a BMX track.
You get all the gold coins they have.
It's all the kangaroos.
All the doubloons.
Kangaroobles. I don't know.
It's a quality plan.
Yes.
Yes.
There it is.
Yeah.
So
We can go
But
home now.
all the kids are like, they're basically getting out, and Nicole Kidman's like, "Guess what's in the box?" And they're like,
What's in the fucking box?
they're like,
it's a blinky.
yeah, yeah, it is. It's a blinky.
blinket?
Yeah, because Whitey's like,
smallpox.
Whitey's like, these new radios, and He's so pissed. And they get outside, and you know, the boss is like, son of a bitch.
Yes.
Sacre bleu, mi plan, merde.
He's an Italian Australian.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch.
It's a fugazi.
The plane boss.
But he's flipping out because shit, we don't have our radios. What are we gonna do?
Right. This plan's not
And
going to work.
and she's like, you better watch out because
Yeah.
we're coming for you.
And
Or she's like, we've got people holding on to the radios if
Yeah.
you want them back. And then they look, and all the BMXers have approached on the hill.
Yeah, they're all ready to charge.
And they do.
And they do. And they
To which, and I mean, this is like a lot of like this is at least 60 or 70.
Yeah,
riders.
all armed
It's-
with flour.
Yeah, it's not like a half-ass thing where it's like, oh, we got like 20 kids on the.
No.
You know, not like what was it? Gleaming the Cube does. Where it's like,
Right.
oh, the army of skaters is coming, and it's like 12 of them on
Yeah.
the top of a hill. No, this is
Oh.
like 70 bikes all coming down the hill.
Yep.
And they come down the hill and just start pelting them. And one dude takes his bike and literally headbutts the dude in the chest with his helmet,
Uh-huh.
knocks him back onto the car.
Yep.
And they're just like, it's bedlam.
It is. It's total bedlam. The kids have the upper hand, and then all of the bad guys get away at once. Like, because there are three,
Well,
like...
not before grabbing Nicole Kidman yet again.
No, I know, but that's what I mean. It's like there are some garbage men there who are part of the plan with this other truck. The kids all focus on them and are like fucking mass stomping them
Oh,
to
yeah.
death.
They're fucking... those guys are dead.
Yeah. Meanwhile, all of the named bad guys get into the truck and drive away.
Yeah. Well, those garbage men, they got Australian justice.
Justice.
Justice. Yeah.
Australian justice.
Anyway,
They got the big boat.
the BMF kids, the BMX, that's us. That's our Saturday morning cartoon. The BMX kids.
This week on BMF Kids.
The one has shown up and jumped onto the back of the truck as it's speeding away, and then the
Yeah.
other one's like, "I'll be right there," and then he also,
Well, he bikes his way to it. He has
Yeah.
to catch up.
that's true, and Nicole Kidman's like, "There's a BMXer outside, gonna get you," and they're like, "Run him off the road." So they think they do, but now both kids are on the back of the truck, and then both kids are on the top of the truck, and they're just driving this truck like an idiot, just like, "Get off our truck," just swerving all over the place. So the kids' plan is to just blind the drivers with this tarp that's on the top of the truck. And they do.
It works.
Yes, and they crash into...
Because there's a point where they're all like climbing on the top, and I'm like, what's your plan, kids?
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah, what are you going to do here?
yeah.
You
Now,
go- you
now that
gonna-
you've made it, are you just going to kind of hang on until
You
they
going to
stop?
Indiana Jones down the front of this thing?
Yeah.
Or what? How's this going to go?
But yes, there happens to be a canvas up top that
Yes.
they can just
So
roll
they-
out.
Yep. And they blind the driver, and he crashes into a demonstration of a foam-based
Fertilizer.
Fertilizer, yeah.
On a golf course.
Yes.
They spent way too long setting up this fertilizer joke. Like,
Yes.
they could have just run into something that said foam on
Right.
the side, and the same thing would have happened.
But so they crash into this, and then it's a foam party set to ragtime music for 5 minutes.
It's not that long.
It's not that long.
It's
3
not that long
minutes.
at all. It's
It
not.
was, it was long enough for
it's
me to
like-
wish for a ragtime version of Lil Jon because there's one dude with the hose just spraying
Skeeting all-
foam and everything, and I'm like, from the windows
Yeah.
to the walls.
They are all in this foam party, like the kids and the bad guys, and they're all beefing. They're all fighting, just like, oh, you with the foam, and I'll get you. Meanwhile, all the cops have shown up and surrounded, like, where the foam is just, like, the barrier of the foam. And they're just standing there like, we'll wait. We'll wait till y'all are done. And then just cut to
BMX track.
BMX track.
Yeah, the plan was a success, I guess.
And, like,
And as the kids are racing, credits just start rolling over it.
yeah.
Over all this footage of all this racing.
Yeah, and the BMX Bandits have won trophies
Sure.
for
Yep.
something. And they receive the trophies, and a bunch of BMXers stunt around this place and race and do various things as the credits roll. But the movie's over.
It sure is.
Yeah.
It just kind of is done.
Yeah, it's an easy movie to talk about because there's really only 3 scenes.
Kind of.
It's like introduction, chase, second chase.
Yeah. Well, we should
Last
probably note.
chase.
I mean, we talked about some of the visuals. John Seal was
Yeah.
the director of photography on it. Which, if you look at his filmography, you know that this is a real guy.
Yeah.
You know, like he's made.
Well, we mentioned Fury Road.
He shot Fury Road.
Fury Road.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he shot like Ron Howard movies, and just
Yeah,
like
one of the Harry Potter.
Yeah.
You know, just like real movies and plenty of them.
Yeah, not just like early Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how early in his filmography this is, but
I mean,
I'm saying it's another like.
won the Oscar for The English
pretty
Patient.
early,
I mean, this dude,
Yeah.
and this movie looks good.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff I like as far as cars where they lock a camera on, like right by the wheel well, and then but you can still see. It's not just you're seeing the wheel well, like if it was Albert Pune. You see like the way, like the kids on the bikes going right by it, and just that sort. Like, there's a lot of just inventive shots going on. It's a really well shot movie.
Yeah.
For what it is.
Yep.
It's bright and colorful because
It
the
is.
kids are red, yellow, and blue.
Yeah,
And the kids have good chemistry. Like,
they're all right.
they have good timing together, and the dialogue isn't terrible. Goose's little quips, just every single time something is said, he has a little jab
Yeah.
or a little joke to throw in, and it works amazingly.
Yeah, they're not terribly annoying.
No,
Yeah.
no.
'Cause, yeah, I
Well,
mean,
they're not young kids; they're teenagers at least. So they're
Yeah,
not
I was
like
just saying.
that.
I mean, like it should be noted, like Nicole Kidman's probably what 15, 16, yeah, in this movie.
Yeah.
So
So
it's early.
and the two like the main henchmen that we focus on, the two like main characters of the film, essentially, they're very entertaining. Like they
Yeah.
are good at the physical stuff, and it seems they don't come across as murderous assholes. They're just like, we really need to get these things back, or else the boss is going to be mad at us.
They're Home Alone villains.
Yeah.
It's like they're
Yeah.
they're going to murder those kids if they get a chance, but it all comes across as haha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean, when they first accost Nicole Kidman, they're like, we can't beat her up. We have to drown her. So no marks. We have to make it look like an accident. But they're still kind of likable. I mean,
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, just there's the scene when they get the crate back and they take Nicole Kidman, where Mustache is like holding the knife at him.
Yeah.
And he just keeps like holding the knife at him, and he tries to get in the car through the window, and then he can't do it, so he climbs on the hood and then goes through the sunroof.
Yeah.
All the while still pointing the knife at them as
Yeah.
if it was like a gun or
yeah,
something.
just like, run at me.
yeah.
I'm gonna poke you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's over. Let's rate it.
Yeah.
Um,
Ratings. I can go.
Okay.
All right.
3 jicks. No, I mean, this is
I think we
fun.
made more Jacks than that.
It's fun. It's probably going to be pretty forgettable over time because there's not much there, but it's sure as hell entertaining while you're watching it. And that's really all I can ask for.
Yep.
And we had fun doing horrible Australian accents,
Boy, did we.
watching it and doing this podcast
Yeah.
and all of it. But
Yes.
yeah, it's a good 3 jocks. You're not going to be disappointed watching it, but you're not going to want everyone you know to come watch it with you.
You're not gonna get stunt rock here. I mean, it's
Yeah, this is not stunt rock
Yeah.
in any form.
Yeah.
But what stunts are there are well filmed.
absolutely
And have a whoosh sound as the bikes go by.
yes.
It is way better in every way than it deserves to be. It's not outstanding, but for what this movie could be, it's like if I was grading it on the what you would expect out of an 80s BMX movie from Australia starring Nicole Kidman for the first time, ladies and gentlemen, it would be like 1,000 stars. But judging it fairly, I think it's about a 3 jocks. A couple more explosions maybe, and it would make it 4. But I was really pleasantly surprised. Like the thing that I kept being shocked by was how good I thought the chemistry was between our 3 stars, and just that, like, the fact that the dialogue was kind of snappy and not just like a bunch of kids going, I don't know what to do. Oh my God, there's a BMX bike. Oh, what do we do with these radios? you know,
Yeah.
for
And apparently it was younger kids originally when they scripted it.
Yeah.
well,
And then they,
thank God they
bumped it
changed
up to teenagers,
Yeah.
which works a lot better.
Yeah.
Yes.
way less shitty teenagers than expected. So 3 jocks, good job,
Yeah.
BMX, good job, BMX Bandits.
Bandits.
3 jokes.
Yeah. I can echo the 3 jocks. This is a fun movie to watch. It's not going to stick with you, but it's colorful. The music's good. The stunts are fun. It was a little shocking to me how completely simple the plot was. Like I kept waiting for like another shoe to drop of some kind. Like like when the cops finally have them, they say something like, well, there could have been bombs in those things. Why were you messing with them at all? And I was just like, oh, well, that would be a fun third act thing where they have to go save all the kids who are going to explode or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's literally just kids meet, they find these radios, they sell them, chase. The end. I mean, that's literally it, and it still works. Like I don't feel like I got gypped or anything. It was like, okay, that's totally cool. I mean, they did a bunch of stunts, and I don't know what I expected going into it. I don't think I got what I expected, but it's still perfectly acceptable.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, if I had seen this when I was 7, this would have been like my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah, I'd be singing whatever song that is at the end.
Unfortunately, it took 35 years to me to see
Yeah.
for me to see it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's fun. It's colorful. It's bright. The Blu-ray looks great.
Yeah.
There's some fun to be had with early '80s Australia. Just looking at it, like looking at the stores, and it's like, what is that? What are these things?
I've never seen any of these cars.
I literally have no idea what you're selling with this sign.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what could that possibly be?
What was
like
that one thing that was like
Planties. What's a-
sheeples or something? No, sheeples, but that's what people say.
Oh yeah, it was like something was $12.50
Yeah.
and it was shippies or something like
Shippies,
that.
yeah,
It's
I
like,
think it
oh,
was
come
like-
get your shippies.
It's like, what is that?
What?
I don't know.
And there was like a zoo apparel store, and it's like, is that a store for zoo animals to go get
It
clothes?
was called New Zoo.
New Zoo, but it was a clothing store. I don't know.
Maybe they just sold things like Izod, anything that had like an animal on
Maybe.
it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Lacoste.
Yeah.
It was just I would just totally go there, and that place is a parking lot now. So,
Right.
but anyway, yeah, it's fun. Fine.
Yeah, I got to go a little bit lower. I'm going to only give it 2 jocks. I mean, I think I might have gone higher if it wasn't for the graveyard scene that feels like it goes on forever.
That does kind of suck the life out of the movie for a while.
But I went through a phase where I was just like, you know what? I'm going to watch all of these, quick to VHS or DVD things with like, hey, star, and they, badly Photoshop them onto the cover. And then, you watch the movie and they're in it for like 5 minutes as the, towel boy or some shit like that.
yeah.
And it's like, I've seen so many of these and they're either A, absolutely awful, or B, like, I don't know which is worse. Like when they just, slap these together and it's like the person's not even the star, or they're not even remotely close to the star. They don't even have a speaking line. Or it was like one of those movies where they got famous while they were making it. And so like they beef up this role that's not supposed to be as big just to like give them a bigger part or something like that.
Right.
I've seen a lot of like really bad, like, oh, and introducing so-and-so, the Lost movie. There's just a ton of bad ones like this. And this is surprisingly a really good, movie for it being one of those ones where it's like, hey, that Oscar winner Nicole Kidman, here she is in this movie she made in Australia. It's just like, it's surprisingly good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not particularly remarkable except for how it's shot and that it's semi-decent,
That's remarkable.
Yeah. I mean, we did remark on it for a while.
We did, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't quite as high on it.
Okay.
I only have so many jocks to give, and I rated last week's higher than everybody else. So.
Oh,
I
you're
got
making up for
sprinkle,
that.
you got
All right.
sprinkle laser.
Spoiler alert: you have unlimited jocks to give.
I do?
Yeah,
What?
give as many as you want.
Table flip. Can't. It's bolted to the wall.
No.
Anyway. All right, let's take a break, shall we?
Sure.
All right.
Wow, what the hell? That was short.
That's because nothing happened.
I know. I know. I was like,
Fucking
and then a chase, and then credits.
It's fine. I have movies to talk about.
Me too.
We got emails.
And we have emails.
And a voicemail, I think.
What? Voicemail?
Do I have a voicemail that I have to pull
Multiple
up?
voicemails.
Multiple.
Oh my god.
Sweet, merciful Zeus.
Voicemails.
Who knew that asking for voicemails would work?
Weird. Weird.
Man, I forgot the address I have to go to get these. It's been so long.
It is. So weird.
All right, so you got one today, and then one from last Friday. Friday.
Mate.
I'll download this little number.
Number. Australia.
Nimba.
New Zealand.
Nimba. I don't know. Walking at it.
Yeah.
The fuck did I put this?
Those of you in the chat, if you've seen the movie Razorback, which I covered last year on 31 Horror Movies, the Whitey dude was one of the gross bad guys in Razorback.
Oh.
He's a very memorable dude. Like, as soon as I saw him, I was like, oh, that's him looking normal.
Yeah, and their boss in this is in Long Good Friday.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually in Spy That Loved Me as well.
Yeah.
And there's something else. There was a BMFcast movie. Oh, he was in The Punisher.
Yes.
The 1989 one.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's been busy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. I don't even know anymore.
Oh, Nelly.
I mean, if it wasn't obvious, I have no idea why I've like literally never been able to perfect even a joking, like, you know, a caricature of an Australian accent.
It's hard.
Like it's a really weird one.
It's easy to slip into either Cockney or just regular
is.
British,
It's just-
and it's very tough to get that particular.
I think I need to go watch some Ozploitation because I mean that's my thing is like I'm kind of a zealot. If I go somewhere and start hearing it, it's like that's how I learn it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You also have to be wary of New Zealand getting all the
Kiwis.
Yeah.
vowels.
Well,
straight.
that's the thing is like I'm also like I'm thinking of the entire time I watched Flight of the Conchords and I'm like I just nope, that's not the right way to say this. Nope.
Gotta be open your mouth a little bit. Open Australia style. Mate. Right.
You know what? While we're on break, I'm gonna use the potty. The loo, if you will.
Potty.
So what's been going on, boners?
He's in the poo now.
No, you're in, back in the pew.
Nerds.
Oh man. Melt into this chair.
Yeah, it's a good chair.
Get some.
I get paid tomorrow.
Fuck yeah, so do I.
I got paid yesterday. It's all gone.
Oh, mine'll be, but
I actually spent it a day before I got paid, hoping that it wouldn't hit.
Did you float checks?
yeah.
I was like, just make it to midnight. Don't anyone run any of these things till midnight. All right, I did it.
Jen having a job again is so good for that.
Ah.
Because we're actually on the schedule where I get paid one week, she gets paid the other
Oh
week.
man.
Oh,
you
that
are in
you
the-
always
So
have
we will
money.
always have money.
That's the best.
God damn. I'm jealous.
That's the good part of being married.
Yeah.
The rest
Or yeah.
because I mean, like honestly, like you can't take a shit you can't have privacy. You know,
Yeah.
there's nowhere to take a shit in your house that they won't hear you. So I just
Not
tell
even
her,
the guest
I just tell
bathroom?
her, why don't you go walk the dogs right now? I got to take a crap.
What did I miss?
You haven't
Being
even
married.
found like a good
Actually, to be
public
honest,
toilet somewhere
no, I
nearby
ju-
where you can be like, I
gotta
gotta
go
go
get
to the
milk.
store. Yeah.
Nah, I just shit at work
My man.
every day.
My man.
Get
You know
paid
what's
for
up.
that.
Company time.
Boss makes $1, I make a dime. That's why I shit on company time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get some Marvel Puzzle Quest in. Get a few matches in.
Catch up on tweets.
There's some mornings, man, where like
Make some tweets.
I don't
Tweets and sheets.
I exaggerate. I don't spend all this time in the goddamn toilet, but
Sure, why
there
not?
are some days, man, where there'll be like 5-6 people come in the span of like 5 minutes, and I'm like, shitter's full, Clark. Get out.
Yeah.
And there was only that one time where the one dude waited
Oh my God.
by
No, you
the
can't
sink,
do that.
and I was like, because I was waiting to hear the door shut, and
Yeah.
it didn't, and then I heard him tapping on his phone, and I'm like, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
This is my time. This is my time.
He probably
Get
wanted.
out.
He probably wanted to make a phone call
Yeah.
because those are the kind of fucks we work with.
Oh yeah, I swear to God, anytime I run into a salesperson, they're either walking into or out of the bathroom talking on the phone, and I'm like, are they just going to listen to you fucking machine gun this toilet in a minute? What the fuck, guy? What's wrong with you?
Stand by a second. I gotta drop my kids off at the pool.
Personally hate shitting at work, but that's because like we don't have anything remotely resembling a private bathroom.
Oh, I don't either.
I
I
mean,
don't care. I'm like, hey man,
I mean, I'm
I eat
saying
a lot
like,
of fiber. Back off.
our bathroom situation is like a 3-stall where if there wasn't wood there, you'd be knee to knee. That's how fucking close the toilets are.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck that.
But anyway, yeah. If you make sure your bathroom has one of those fans that's loud. Because she's like, we can replace the fan in here. It's really loud. I'm like, nope. You leave that fan.
Louder the better.
Yeah.
Put an onboard motor.
Yeah.
up
Because
there.
guess what? I don't want to hear you turd either. All right.
Yeah.
If we replace the fan, we have to put a drum set in there.
Yeah.
Ruins the magic.
Ooh, I like that idea. Not for any reason. It's just like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a drum throne. Just turn it into a drum throne.
Damn right. Yeah, I like this.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Like
but
fold down from the wall and
money is a pretty good part of being married. The whole 2 income thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
you can get part of that by taking a roommate.
Yeah.
You don't get to fuck them occasionally. Well, maybe
Yeah, well,
sometimes
when you're
you do.
married, you don't either. So
I said occasionally.
Eh,
Nah.
nah,
Nah.
nah.
Not really selling me on this. Here.
nah.
Sales pitch, not great, Bob.
There's a reason for that.
Nah.
Just kidding. I love my wife. I really
We
do.
know.
Yeah.
We know.
We know.
Yeah.
We know.
No, she's pretty cool.
We know.
Yeah. We get it.
She's sick of all my jokes, though. Like she's done.
So are we.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But she's like extra sick of it.
She has to hear him in the morning.
She also
in the
hates that she
evening.
can't get me to laugh. Like, can't do it.
No, she.
Yeah, every once in a
No
while.
jokes?
That's like the best days are when she can actually get me with some joke, and I'll start laughing. She's like, "You laughed at that."
Yeah.
She's like shocked into whatever.
I'm pretty sure my wife keeps a joke diary of the ones that land.
Yeah,
Dear diary.
because usually I just look over her. I'm like, "Really?"
Yeah.
And then she does that to me even worse now. So you know,
That's the great thing about laughing at your own jokes.
I should know.
Just crack yourself up.
Yeah.
so anyway,
Let's do a second
would
half.
you like to do a second half? Of
Love
our
to.
podcast?
I got things to talk about.
Have to.
Man, I know you two got a big one,
Big one.
a biggin.
A biggin.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
You got anything?
Nothing to really talk about.
Yeah,
no.
same here.
Yeah. I mean, if it was a light week, then
I don't
have
really-
stuff to talk about.
I don't really do this movie thing.
Okay.
I don't
All
get
right,
it.
then.
I don't get why people watch them.
Well,
All right.
just listen to us then.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, cool.
I'll just read the emails.
Okay.
Charlo half. Go. No.
All right. Welcome back.
Oh, second half.
Hey, oi.
Oi. BMFcast.
F number 2.
What
No.
is this
Second
weird
half.
accent you're doing? I don't understand. So,
the-
yeah,
The
go on.
down under half.
yeah,
Yeah.
I got to talk about a place out in the Pacific.
There we go.
Yeah. All right.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Chuck and I went and saw Pacific Rim Uprising.
We did, yeah.
Because, of course we would, because it's fucking Pacific Rim, and there's another one.
Right.
Giant robots fighting monsters. Why would you not?
Exactly.
Unless
Let me
you
just say
couldn't make it
Okay.
in a movie theater.
one thing before we start talking about Pacific Rim Uprising. One thing. The day before, I rewatched, sat down and watched start to finish Pacific Rim, just to get caught back up.
Sure.
And that movie is, I love everything about it. Like there's just nothing about that movie that rubs me the wrong way, and I'm constantly baffled by people who watch that movie and go, meh. I think there's so much creativity in that movie. It's astounding, and
It is a feast for the eyes.
it really is. Like you look at it and just go, I'm just baffled by the effects of it. Of just like obviously the robots and the kaiju and everything like that are not real, but like just the hangar, the Shatter Dome and all that shit. It's just like everything just looks so amazing.
It's called the Shatter Dome.
Yes, it is. Yes, and that's another thing too. Is that everything has a badass name. Everything.
Stacker motherfucking
Stacker
Pentecost.
Pentecost.
Stacker Pentecost. God damn it. Everything is just so cool about it. Everything.
That's the kind of thing, I like to hope that Did Guillermo? Yeah, I can't say that. Did he write that movie too?
Co-wrote it.
Yeah, co-wrote it. So I'm just that's the kind of thing like that I hope that he had a list of like like most writers have just a jot book of like that's a cool name, that's a cool thing.
Yeah.
Like
I got to use that someday.
Like I just hope somewhere there's a notebook that says Stacker Pentecost, and it was just like, when's the right time?
Yeah.
This is the right time.
This is it. This man.
Yeah.
Yeah, once they knew they had Idris Elba,
Yeah.
they're like, yep.
Yeah. He is Stacker Pentecost. So anyway,
Yes.
there's a sequel 5 years later called Pacific Rim Uprising.
How much longer is it set?
10 years.
10 years later? Okay. So it's not like the next generation of Pacific Rim guys.
No.
I mean, it is and it isn't because John Boyega plays Stacker Pentecost's kid.
Yeah. Jake Pentecost.
Oh, come the fuck on.
Like, how did Stacker Pentecost not name his kid something cool like fucking Epsilon Pentecost or
Yeah.
Folding.
Jake?
Folder Pentecost.
Yeah, just,
Stapler Pentecost. Hole punch Pentecost.
Stacker 2 Pentecost. The world's strongest fat burner.
Yep. All these things.
But yes, he's Jake Pentecost.
Yeah,
Fine.
Jake Pentecost. But,
Skull Crusher Pentecost.
I mean, in a nutshell, the easiest way to sum this up is I think we both kind of came to the same conclusion. Is like the only thing wrong with this movie is that it's not Pacific Rim.
Yep. Its biggest flaw is that Pacific Rim exists.
Yeah.
Like, if this had just come out and been a thing, we'd be like, oh, man, fuck yeah, robots punching monsters. Yeah, this is great. I love everything about this. But when you have that first movie to compare it to, I came out of it saying I enjoyed it. I really don't have a problem with any of it. I understand that it was made for an international audience because the international box office is what saved the first movie. That's how we got this one.
Right.
So, like, all the people stuff has to be super generic so they can dub it into what millions of languages it has to be dubbed into. But there's just nothing in it that's as cool as any of a list of 10 things I could point to in Pacific Rim and go, man, that shit was fucking rad.
Yeah.
Like, that little detail was fucking rad, and there's not any of that in this.
I will say something that might immediately sound like it's going to unsell you on it, but go with me for a second. There is... So, like, the first one was very much kind of strangely loaded in its robot action because it's sort of like, here's cool action scene with the robots, here's a movie action scene, and then it's kind of like no robot shit for a long time until the end, whereas this one's like no robot shit until about 3/4 of the way through the movie.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of more setup. I mean, there's a quick Jaeger thing in the beginning, but it's much more back-ended with the action.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of the intro parts that kind of have a Transformers movie like kinetic vibe thing going on, which I could totally get because those things do gangbusters. That's why there's 5 of those fucking movies, and all Americans going, why are there 5 fucking Transformers movies?
Yeah.
Because they make 3 times as much in China.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. The first one never for a second ever felt like a Transformers movie.
Right.
This one does.
Yeah,
But it feels like a good Transformers
Yeah, that's what I was about
movie.
to say. It has that Transformers movie kinetic action thing going on without the unnecessary camera masturbation that Michael Bay does.
Right.
So it's just like you will have things where it's like, all right, this is awfully frantic, but it's like the best Transformers movie.
Yes. That's a good thing you can say
Yeah.
about this movie is it's a very good Transformers movie.
Yeah. But yeah, then it becomes the Pacific Rim crazy shit you want by the end.
Yeah.
You
There's a lot of what you want in this.
Yeah.
A lot.
And I really like this is another one where I know we just said it's not Pacific Rim the Next Generation, but it kind of is because this one is about all right, we're pretty sure we've won, so we're just kind of maintaining this in a just in case scenario. So you're following like recruits, whereas the other one was like we're pretty much Jaeger pilots and we're ready to go. This one is like we're kind of following some recruits and
It was like end times, and this is all that's left.
Yeah.
In the first one, and this is just like we should probably keep this going just in case.
yeah.
But so we don't really have the best of the best. We just have some punk kids.
Yeah, so you kind of get Jaeger kids by the end when when shit goes south. That's not really a spoiler. It's like
Yeah.
drama in the movie happens, and you know, these kids have to like step up, if you will.
But
And-
like none of the
but,
kids,
the streets.
but they're good. Like I mean, they cast good kids.
yeah, none of the kids are annoying. And there's like the main kid is a younger girl than everyone else in the cast, and she's not remotely annoying.
Yeah.
So
she's not really.
Yeah.
She's like 20.
oh
She
really?
just she looks.
Oh.
Seriously, I have no idea. Like she has like some kind of weird stunted growth because I swore she was like 12.
Okay, yeah.
But I mean, I'm
She's a
sure
little-
she was
she's
supposed
a
to be
midget
that
kid.
Yeah, she was supposed to be 12 in the movie,
Okay.
I think. But it was like,
Yeah.
it's insane.
But like they try to give her the same kind of backstory that they gave the girl in Pacific Rim, like
Mm-hmm.
the tragic, like this happened. But that flashback is so good in Pacific Rim, and I just as soon as I see that little girl, man, I lose it. I was like, this kid is fucking terrified. I don't know what you did to that kid, Del Toro, to terrify her so much, but I believe her. I believe that she knows that a monster is about to eat her. And in this movie, they try to do the same thing, and it's just like, nah. So
Yeah, but it's still fun. It's
Yeah.
still a mighty fun movie.
yeah, I'll say this in that, just talking about like the little details of Pacific Rim that seem like they had so much thought put into them. This movie just doesn't have that. And one like example I can give is, I know we all talked about when we did the spoiler cast for it for Pacific Rim how it was interesting to note that the Jaeger pilots would go out of their way not to cause destruction when they were fighting. Like it's one point specifically, they
Like stepped over
a
bridge,
a passenger,
yeah.
a pedestrian walkway instead of just smashing right through it, which is what any movie would do. They would just smash right through it. But as they're going to fight this monster in the city, they step over this thing to avoid causing damage.
And continually you're saying things like, let's lead it out of the city.
Yes. Pacific Rim Uprising is fuck all the things.
Yeah, fuck this city. We are going to...
Use the buildings as weapons.
Yeah.
And it's another one of those movies where shit goes wrong immediately, and people are for some reason still working in office buildings. Like they're just like like the Godzilla movie, where just like they've been fighting in the city for an hour, and people are still like at their desks watching this happen. Like you should be getting the fuck out of the building.
They didn't want to get stuck in traffic.
I guess I don't know, but like
Kaijus cause a lot of traffic
yeah,
jams.
but it's just another one of those movies where it's like, oh no, these people did not evacuate. they're dead.
They work for a kaiju clock watcher boss. You know, it's just like,
Yeah.
we're going to dock you for that pay.
Yeah. It's like, no, you're not leaving. Kaiju or no kaiju,
You
you're
don't
going to
have-
finish this deadline.
You don't have any PTO left. And
yeah.
Yeah.
So you sit at your desk. But
I guess it's just the way it sounds to me, it's almost like a cover version of Pacific Rim, where it's like,
Yeah.
you know, these people like the original thing, they want to do it, but they're not the same people. You know, it's like
Yes.
they don't have the vision that someone like Del Toro does.
absolutely, that is absolutely a
Oh,
fact.
yeah, sure. Yeah.
Just none of that. Like there's just none. I mean, there are some cool ass moments in Pacific Rim Uprising. There's just nothing in it where you're just like, oh man, fuck yes.
And it just loses that. There's that sheen in like especially the night stuff in the first one.
Yeah.
That, you know, there's nothing as visually arresting as that.
Yeah, everything's in the daytime
Yeah.
and super bright, and the Jaegers are more animated for some reason. Like they kind of react strangely to things, like whipping their heads around and doing head tilts and stuff like that. And it's just like, this is a weird upgrade to the Jaeger pilot program. Where
Yeah.
so
Do they still have country coded teams? Or is that kind of gone now?
That's
Because that was
mostly
kind of
gone.
something super cool about the first one.
It
It's
was.
like, all right, each country had their own.
It's an international cast. I'll say that. Like
Yeah.
every country where the first movie was popular is represented in the cast, but there's no like. And now Team
Yeah.
Japan is
Yeah.
here. No, there's none of that.
I mean, they make reference to the old
Yeah.
cast somewhat because there's like a memorial wall type thing.
Okay. I'm glad you mentioned the memorial wall.
I mean, it's not really a spoiler. It's just like there's your Stacker Pentecost, and here's the cool spiky-eared Russian dude, and they have little holograms. And
yes.
Ooh, hollow
The
wall.
Australian dude who piloted the Jaeger with Stacker Pentecost, who blew up to save everybody, is not on the fucking memorial wall. And this movie never mentions him or his dad. His dad fucking survived and was king of the Shatterdome.
They never even really talked about what happened to Raleigh either.
Yeah, no, they mention Raleigh by name once, but
Yeah.
it's just like, we don't know if he's dead or alive.
Right.
Not that it matters, but they don't mention Clifton Collins at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's strange who they keep and who they just completely toss aside. So it's just.
But
weird.
I mean, I'm trying to think of an example where it was like a real filmmaker, if you will, made a movie, and then there was offshoot movies. This is better than most of those I've seen.
Sure.
I will say it feels it's still it's the cover band version, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just trying to think of like an example.
RoboCop.
Sure, yeah.
RoboCop 2 comes along, and you're like,
Fuck this.
It's
Yeah.
it just no. There's none of it that's right.
There are some clever things in RoboCop 2.
Yes,
but
there's
on
some
the
aping
whole-
of the original formula that works in RoboCop 2, but as a whole, it's just like you guys just don't get it. Like,
Yeah.
just don't get it.
Or, well, you don't like the first one, but I mean, like the thousands of Scanner sequels. It's like the first one's
Right.
made by a real filmmaker, and it's
Yeah.
like,
the rest are
yeah.
ugh.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like there's a whole bunch of throughout history where it's like real filmmaker made first thing, and then there's sequels. This is better than most of those.
Yes. Yeah, it's absolutely worth seeing. Yeah. It's a good time. It's just not Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Oh well.
Well, I've got other movies. What do you want to do?
I just have a TV show, so if you want to talk about your other movies, go
Okay,
ahead.
well, these should be fairly quick. I watch vastly different movies, so I'll just jump into something. I'll go with newest first. I watched the new Netflix movie called Game Over Man, which is basically the Workaholics people made a movie.
Okay.
It's weird because, like, first off, I'll say it's not a direct continuation. It's not like they're the Workaholics characters. But I will say, like, if you didn't watch the show, or if you've ever watched the show and you don't like it, this is absolutely not going to be for you. But as someone who enjoyed the show and thought it was pretty funny, this is a pretty funny movie. I mean, it's that kind of, not that they were held back much by what was on Comedy Central, because they've gotten very lax about that. But this was like, hey, you can do whatever you want now. It's rated R. It's Netflix. Go fucking crazy. So
My understanding is it's just dicks out in this movie.
yeah, yeah.
So that's what everyone. Hey, you should watch that new movie. It's got dicks in it.
Yeah.
So they're totally dropping them for Harambe, or what?
I suppose, sure. Yeah, there could be some respect there. I don't know, but I feel like I missed an opportunity because my long tradition with Shining Lights T-Strel is maybe he won't listen to this and I can rewatch this movie with him. Like,
This
hey,
is way too close to reading for him.
I'm just saying, like, maybe we should try this movie. This might be funny, and then
It's a new
bam,
comedy.
dicks out for for a long-standing joke. But no, it's funny, and it's got really funny cameos that you don't expect. Like some of them, it's like, well, yeah, because it seems like there are certain people that it's like, oh, you've got to deal with Netflix. You're contractually obligated to show up in everything Netflix now, and
Right.
vice versa. But then there's like some people. It's like, wait, am I missing something? Like, why did you get this person? You kind of cameos.
Okay.
Like just off the wall, like. All right, or like literally people you just go like, oh hey, it's you, and they're just sitting in the background, like as themselves, or weird shit like that. But and it's also it's funny, but it's also surprisingly well made for like a Die Hard-esque ripoff. Like that's I'm always in awe of comedy movies that bother to film action pretty well, even if it's jokey while it's happening. It's like, but they have that action movie sheen thing going on that works pretty well, and I just appreciate when filmmaking in a comedy isn't just throwaway,
Yeah.
So like I said, it's a thing. It's easy to watch because it's on Netflix, but like I said, it's one of those. It's like I wouldn't like go say watch Run Ronnie Run if you haven't seen Mr. Show,
Right.
Even though that is a direct continuation of a character, that sort of thing. Just like, why would you watch Brain Candy if you've never seen a frame of Kids in the Hall?
Exactly.
This would be, a lot of it's going to be lost on you.
Yeah.
Their style of banter, but yeah, it's enjoyable.
Okay.
Again, none of these have any rhyme or reason, just random movies I decided to watch. I was kind of going through a thing where I wanted to watch a movie that had been mostly critically lambasted, and but the audiences loved, and I was like, well, there's a really good example of that from last year, so I watched The Greatest Showman.
Oh yeah,
that's
people hate that.
Well, critics hate that.
Critics
People
hate
fucking
that.
love the movie.
Okay. How do you feel?
You should listen to people, not critics.
Oh. Snap.
Now, and I'm saying this, I suppose, as somewhat of a critic, but not in any kind of professional way. Again, like, if you're either a musical person or you're not. So this is not going to be the one that's like, oh, fuck, I love musicals now all of a sudden. What was wrong with me? So it's a straight up fucking musical. So you're out, kind of thing. So I will say, I had a smile on my face for almost the entire run of this movie. I don't love the music. Like, I mean, it's a little modern-y pop for my tastes. You know, I mean, like, that's just the old fogey in me coming out. But I still found a lot of it really charming, and especially the way it was being performed and the dance/actions of people while it was happening. I just found it like wholly charming. I mean, it's one of those things where I can't figure out what critics. I mean, I can, because I feel like we live in a society now where you can't just simply get over a simple fact. Because I mean, let's be honest, this is an extremely flattering look at P.T. Barnum, kind of noted asshole throughout the ages.
Yes.
So if you're immediately put off by that, there's zero recovery, because here is this heroic, hero's journey thing for this guy that we know was pretty much a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I feel like at a certain point we have to draw the line. We have to say, like, everybody is problematic. Like, what are we going to do when, like, there are no more heroes or things to tell about somebody when everybody has dirt on them? Like, what are we literally going to do? We're gonna take information to to a point where it's like there will be zero fun. There will be zero wonder or awe or anything if you don't do some history scrubbing, kind of thing. So throw that aside and just watch this movie and realize they're singing modern-y songs in whenever the hell this is.
Okay.
Like, there's nothing fucking factual about any of this. Just watch it for what the hell it is. And Hugh Jackman is a fucking treasure of an actor, singer, dancer, everything. That dude.
Australian.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman. But I just say, like, it is really weird the curve that the world has taken on Hugh Jackman, because I remember when he was cast for Wolverine, everybody was like, "Fuck, who the hell is this? Why isn't it a blah, 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 person I thought should have been Wolverine?"
Right.
And then just this sheer tenacity of his character, where it's like, because he went through that point, it was like, "Oh, fucking Hugh," because then it was like, we're casting Hugh Jackman and everything. It's like, "Oh, fuck Hugh Jackman," and everything sounds like we're saying huge Ackman,
Yes.
And so, like, just this trajectory where it's like, he's just persevered through all of this and come out this, like, no, he's actually really good. Like, this Brad Pitt style thing where it was like, everyone for years was like, fuck that pretty boy, and blah, 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 Legend of the Fall, fuck that shit. And then, next thing you know, it's like, Brad Pitt's fucking great, actually. Yeah.
Does good work.
Yeah. So, he's good. I mean, Zac Efron's another one, because it's like, fuck High School Musical, and now we're like, Zac Efron's really good, actually, guys.
It's funny.
Yeah,
He's a good guy.
And because I will say I had basically zero exposure to her going into it, because I'm not a Disney Channel person. Is it Zendaya or Zendaya? How do you say her name? I don't know how you say it.
I think it's Zendaya.
Zendaya. Is Zendaya?
Zendaya.
I looked it up and I completely forgot if it's. I think it's Zendaya.
Zendaya.
All right, I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. However you say her name. My only exposure, was like, everyone was like, why is she in Spider-Man? Blah, blah, blah. She better not be Mary Jane. I don't know.
Oh, right.
Yeah, whatever,
Yeah,
dumb
racism.
thing. Yeah. But like, it's really weird to me, because like I feel like she is going to be a force going forward, and it's really strange to me that I don't know how to say it delicately, they ugged her up for Spider-Man Homecoming so much, because she is glamorous as fuck in this movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, you see pictures of her, like, walking the red carpet and looking glamorous, but like, they made her so frumpy looking in Spider-Man Homecoming. And I'm sure that's for the, ugly glasses and overalls thing for Spider-Man 2, or whatever the hell we're calling it, where it's like, suddenly, no, wait, I'm actually beautiful, kind of thing,
Yes.
that they're
She's
going
all
to
that
do.
thing.
Yeah, I'm seriously, they had to have done that, because like, they make her look so frumpy and everything in Spider-Man Homecoming. And like I said, seeing her in, like, she's the object of Zac Efron's eye in this movie. And, it's just like, I don't know, this movie's fun. And like, I just don't understand what is wrong with critics. And I like to think about, if you were to somehow figure out technology that you could transport this movie back to the 1950s, it would blow people's fucking minds.
Yeah.
I mean, and I occasionally have to remind myself that movies are timeless, and and I feel like a lot of times because movie history, people give a pass to something because don't get me wrong, I want to love everything. That's just my general nature when it comes to movies. But I look at something like Singing in the Rain, heralded classic of cinema and musical cinema, and the entire finale of that movie is shot on a soundstage with strange lighting and cardboard props and everything. And I know it's like a sequence within a sequence within a sequence of a movie kind of thing, but still, like, that's the finale of their movie.
Right.
And this is like, I'm just saying, if you took this back to like 1950s audiences when musicals were huge, their heads would literally be exploding. Like, and that's the crazy thing about this movie is like, if you grade it on like this musical scale throughout time, this would be just unbelievably treasured. It had it come out in the past, But yeah, I don't know. Like it's just a strange thing. I don't understand why there's like this collective groupthink on movies that every critic's like, I fucking hate that, and they all jump on board and like, here's why I hate it and everything. And then now we have it doing it for shit that hasn't even come out yet.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know it happened with, Ghostbusters 2016, Answer the Call, whatever the fuck the actual title of that movie is.
It's Lady Ghostbusters.
Sure, Lady Ghostbusters, Lady
It's
Busters.
the Ghostbusters.
I don't think that's the title at all.
That's
No, I'm
not
pretty
it.
sure. I'm pretty
No,
sure
that's-
somebody told me it's the Ghostbusters.
That's not it.
It is.
Whatever. I mean,
I heard it.
people did that with that, but that was like, that was admittedly gender swapping of a so like there's MRA people who are like, ladies can't do stuff, they can't bust ghosts. You have remake people going why can't you come up with an original idea? There was a lot of like things stacked against for pre-hate of that, but now it's like, other than the marketing, granted, I will give you that, and I've mostly wiped it out. Like, I've never seen a movie more hated than Ready Player One, and it hasn't even come out. And I just feel like this was like one of those things where like the media Illuminati got together and were like, we're gonna shit all over this movie, let's figure out how we do it. And I can't figure it out.
It happens 2 or 3 times a year. There's this strange competition of just like, I heard this movie's trash, and then they're like, oh yeah, well I can write more biting criticism than that, and then it just becomes who can fucking shit in the mouth of the movie harder. It's just, and then someone says, I thought it was pretty good, and then everyone beats them the fuck off the internet. It's just like, you get out. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of it is people don't want to have a discussion about something, like they don't, and people also don't want to be the one who's like, well, actually, I really liked Ready Player One, because they'd be like, defend your position.
Yeah.
Is going to be what happens.
How
And
dare you, sir?
yeah, and it's like,
Have you seen it? No.
yeah, and it's like, I just liked it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. And I find myself doing that to people too, where it's like, no, how can you, no, how can you like that? But I think it's very much a groupthink thing, where it's like once that has taken hold, same with like The Mummy last year we talked about, where that's just like an average ass movie. It's not like,
people have been waiting to shit on Tom Cruise for 10 years. And the problem is that every Tom Cruise movie that came out was amazing. And
you
they
kept making
couldn't-
Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, I
So
mean,
people are like, damn it, I can't.
I don't
make
even think
fun of
that's the worst Tom Cruise movie of the last 10
no.
years.
What I'm saying is that for the most part, like, Tom Cruise movie after Tom Cruise
Sure.
movie would come out, and everyone would go, wow, that was really good. I can't say a mean thing about Tom Cruise. And then one comes along that's mediocre, and everyone's like, you know what, man? Fuck that guy. Fuck everything about him. Fuck him, fuck him, fuck him.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
Just
hell?
waiting for an opening.
yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
It's just-
all I can say, as a fan of musicals, I had a smile on my face throughout most of this movie. Now, granted, a lot of it is like there was a dark turn where it's like, I'm saying, like, there's a dark period where it's
Did
not
Nicole Kidman get tuberculosis?
no, wrong musical.
that's
Oh.
Australia.
Yeah. No, I mean it's
Australia.
there's
Also stars.
there's a lot of
Eject.
like shit times in this movie.
Oh,
You know, like
okay.
I mean, there's poor ass people and not quite plague, but I mean, there's some shitty living situations. So like, there's not everything is all happy go lucky, but I mean, most of it is like gotta dance and sing and get our way through all this stuff.
Exactly.
It's got a dance in it?
It's not.
No, never mind. Worst movie ever. Doesn't have Gene Kelly.
Doesn't have a song from another movie that I just mentioned. Yeah.
All right. I'll finish up with 2 quick things.
All right.
So I watched the entire second season of Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
That is not as good as the first season of Jessica Jones. I still think I would have to go back and watch it again, but if I had to say what my favorite Marvel thing of all time was, it's Jessica Jones, then the first Captain America movie, and then pretty much everything else is in a battle for third place. I really, really, really like the first season of Jessica Jones. It hit all the right notes for me. It was what I wanted it to be. The second season feels like the middle chapters of a book. The problem is that nothing usually happens except exposition in the middle chapters. There's no anything. There's no thing that happens that's like, oh, okay, now we're doing this. It's just, let's check in on Jessica Jones and see what she's up to. Oh, it's sad for Jessica Jones. She's having a hard time. Oh, things are bad for her friends, too. Oh, these things are going badly. All right, well, we're done. We'll see you in 3 more years. You know, and it's like, what was that? Like, what did I just watch? So it just felt pointless. I kept waiting for something to happen, and nothing ever happened.
Is it kind of like a Thor Dark World thing where it's like, we need another season of Jessica Jones, and we don't really know what we got that would be compelling, but we need another season. Does it feel like that?
Take the bad guy out of Thor the Dark World.
Yeah.
And the plot of Thor the Dark World, take that out too, and just have Thor like hanging out.
Yeah.
Talking to Loki and
doing some Thor shit.
Doing Thor
just
stuff.
Thorin.
You know?
Thorin around.
Talking to Natalie Portman a bit.
Yeah.
You know, him and Stellan Skarsgård going off and doing some
Skarsgård.
stuff.
Skellig Sweden head.
You know, just hanging out, you know, chatting, getting drunk and stuff, you know. You might go, yeah, that's entertaining, but you'd be like, man, what was the point of that? That's how this feels.
So it's more like, hey, you want to hang out with this character, so here you go.
Yeah, but everything sucks for them, so enjoy wallowing in shit for 13 episodes. And that's another thing, too. There are 2 or 3 plot lines in this show that just need to fucking go. Like, by the end, you're like, what was the point of that? Oh, to fill up 13 episodes. This show should have been 8.
Well, and that's the thing, too, about all these Netflix shows, is it's like, why do you need to adhere to this 13-episode thing?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's a union thing or
just do the Stranger Things thing. It was like 8 episodes.
Yeah.
Just get it done.
The Defenders was 8 episodes. But all these other Marvel shows are 13, and it's just like, you don't have enough story for this. So, anyway, I still think it's worth watching. It has at least 1 episode that's strong as hell, but, like, ultimately it's... Nah. But the other thing that I've been watching on Netflix is that documentary show called The Toys That Made Us.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah. And I've just kind of been skipping around. There's only 4 episodes, so it's... But,
what is it?
It's literally about 80s toys.
Oh.
It's just documentaries. They just
It takes a specific line of toys, and it just...
It's like, here's the Star Wars line. Here's the history of the company and how it got to here,
So,
and
like,
then...
they have, like, Transformers, and they say all the different
They haven't done
Japanese
Transformers
lines that... Oh, the fuck.
Transformers, I think, is in the second
It
half
is,
of the first season.
Yeah, which hasn't come out yet.
Okay.
They've done G.I. Joe, Barbie, Star Wars, and He-Man.
Yeah. So the episodes are really good in that they have found so many production people from the toy companies to talk about how the toy lines were created, like what the executives were thinking, how they pitched the things, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of information that I really want. It's all the people who were there at the time, and it's funny now because they're all like old dudes, and they're just like making toys is the best thing ever, and you know they're just
One
talking
of those
about
He-Man guys is just a hard, total character.
Yeah, and like one of the guys who designed all the G.I. Joes is just like so into it, but he's also like 90. You know, so it's just like hearing people just seeing them light up and talk about these toys that they created, but they're also 100 years old is an interesting dynamic. But I like that they got so many people to come and talk about it, and so that it's informative. It's not just it's not just pulling information out of like, oh, Wikipedia said this, so they actually have the people who created these things. So that's good. The only thing that bugs me about the show so far is that it is way overproduced. Like they are forcing jokey bits into the discussion for no reason. Like the narrator's kind of jokey and irritating, and they will splice in reactions from interview participants that are out of context to make like reaction shots to things, and that's mildly irritating. But overall, it is a great look at some of this stuff. The only thing that they're very good about covering the rise of these toys and then they get to like there's only 5 minutes left in the documentary, and there's like, yeah, then the company went tits up and everything died and no more toys.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, all right. Because like the G.I. Joe episode, it's like Hasbro bought Kenner, and they decided Kenner was going to be the thing, and they're going to just focus on their product, and they said, fuck G.I. Joe, no more of that. And I was like, explain yourself. Why? Why would you do that? Because it was at that point that there was no more Star Wars.
Yeah.
So why they just said, G.I. Joe, get the fuck out. So
I'm willing to bet that the people responsible for the era of downturn for all of these particular companies
didn't
aren't
want to talk about. Yeah,
aren't talking.
Probably right.
They're some D-bag exec that waltzed in and wiggled his dick all over all the plans.
Yeah.
And that guy's not going to talk because he was fired 15 years ago, but got a golden parachute and is living on an island.
He
in
doesn't
Fiji.
give a shit. Yeah. But they do cool stuff like the executives go back to their old office buildings and they're like, oh, we used to work over here. Here's where we created this, and stuff like that. That kind of stuff is cool. The He-Man episode is really interesting because they talk a lot about the cartoon, which was, they say, very instrumental in making this toy line as popular as it was. But then they're like, this cartoon, man, was just utter garbage.
It was insane and nothing like we intended it to be.
Like,
but
they made this weird alter ego for He-Man, and we're like, what is this? Do we have to make this guy now? Like, what is?
And they did.
Yeah, I know.
I remember that. And
Yeah.
I was like, wait, they made a Prince Adam toy?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. And then they talk about the movie, and they're like, oh, man, that fucking movie. They were like, they had to, at the last minute, go back and reshoot Dolph Lundgren saying, I have the power, because they forgot to ever do it in the first place.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. It was like, that's the one thing. That's the one He-Man thing.
Yep.
And you guys didn't even do it until the end credits. So it's all informative and great, but it's just the episodes, if they could just slow their roll a little bit and not be like, we have to be jokey. It's like, yeah. Don't.
Well, let me know when the Transformers one's out.
Yeah.
Because I would be curious to see how that jives with my probably too extensive knowledge of all of it, and like the comic book creator who ended up naming all of them, basically.
Yeah. Well, they do it. I mean, with the G.I. Joe stuff, they are with the Marvel guys. Like, this is basically where the entire premise of the G.I. Joe storyline came from, was these Marvel dudes. So.
Yeah. And Transformers is interesting because, like, the comics have a separate storyline than the cartoons, and the British comic had a different storyline than the American comic.
Yeah,
and,
they talk about that stuff.
Yeah.
So. It almost felt like in the G.I. Joe one there was not enough time to cover everything that needed to be covered. There was just so much stuff.
But do they do like the old G.I. Joes originally, or is it just the Hasbro ones?
They
talk about the
old. It's mainly about the 80s line, but they talk about the
G.I.
origin.
Joe dolls.
Yeah,
Action
dolls.
Action dolls.
But like there's a very appropriate segment in the G.I. Joe one too where they're talking about the aircraft carrier. And they're so dead on right about it because like they're interviewing toy collectors and stuff. It's like, yeah, everyone in their like one kid in the neighborhood got it for Christmas, and everyone would go over to their house and just be like, "Man, look at this thing!" And I'm like,
It's fucking huge.
That's absolutely
it's like the
right.
size of this table.
Yeah,
It was about 6 foot long.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And one kid in my neighborhood got it for Christmas, and we would all go over to his house, just like, "Man, look at this! It's dumb, but holy shit, look at it!"
I had one friend that they had a playroom or whatever that was like over a garage, and so like they just had all this space, and somehow like every crazy toy, they were the ones that got it.
Yeah,
like
Because they had room for it.
I guess because they had room for it. Because like I mean I don't, as far as I know, they weren't a super rich family, but like they had the aircraft carrier, they had the Death Star playset, like all these things.
Yeah.
They had like Grayskull and whatever the other one was.
Oh,
That purple one.
Yeah, the purple one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm saying like they had every playset thing that was like, oh, I can't believe you have that.
I didn't know anybody that had room for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had fucking Metroplex or whatever. Like
right, yeah.
No,
Like,
Fortress Maximus is
that what it was?
twice
Yeah.
the size.
Okay.
But yeah.
But whatever.
But
the
he's
hell,
still not
city
even
one.
close to that aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
He's like 2 feet tall.
I'm saying like every like unicorn toy of like, oh, that's the top toy. They fucking had it.
Snake Mountain.
Yeah.
Roach Lord in
Thank
the
you.
chat
Thank you.
says informed Snake Mountain.
That's right.
It's been a little while since.
Snake Mountain.
Yeah.
It's funny too in the He-Man episode where they start talking about the She-Ra stuff, and they have like some lady executives who are like, yeah, you know, we noticed that girls wanted to play with these toys too, and like there's this weird dynamic back and forth within the company of how they didn't want the other line to succeed.
Yeah, like the guys making the He-Man toys were like, oh, I don't know if we want.
We don't want to water it down.
She-Ra
And they actually blamed the decline of the line on the fact that once boys realized that the girls were also playing with the toys, they didn't want to play with them anymore.
Yeah.
So, but She-Ra had the coolest bad guy. I mean, Skeletor was pretty badass, but like whoever the weird skull face bad guy in She-Ra was pretty badass too. And that was like, I didn't have any She-Ra toys, but I had that dude. Because that dude was fucking awesome.
Well, the best He-Man bad guy, or She-Ra bad guy across the board, Trapjaw.
Oh, yes.
Trapjaw was awesome.
Yeah, Trapjaw is the coolest.
Trapjaw is the sound wave of He-Man. The
Chandwave.
Chandwave, if you prefer.
Anyway.
Deep-ass cut.
Hordak. That's it. Thank you, Roach Lord.
Man,
Roach Lord is apparently
on top of it.
our resident
He-Man
Fucking He-Man
expert.
savant. Yeah. Hordak was awesome. So.
No.
We are Eternia grateful.
So,
nice.
you guys want some emails?
Meh.
yes. I haven't heard
Yes.
an email
I would
in
love
so
to
long.
have an
Speaking of Netflix,
Yes.
we got one from Jay from Vegas.
Ah.
Who
Hey,
says,
Jiggers.
Who says Netflix is killing it in the original TV series game. Says, hey, BMF crew, Jagus here, back from near death, and I have a shitload of free time on my hands, so I'm getting caught up on shows everyone says I need to see, and one series I finished that I want other people to see is Altered Carbon. The show is a noir-style story centered on the suspicious circumstances surrounding the death of a wealthy man. The twist is it takes place in the future, where everyone has an implant that stores their consciousness, and, as a result, humanity has cheated death. While the show takes place in a time where this technology has existed for hundreds of years, it still explores the religious, moral, and legal ramifications of this technology's existence. I would love to discuss this show more, but I don't want to spoil anything, so hit me up in the Discord spoiler zone, and we can talk all about it. Crash and Burn J, sent from the PlayStation 3, storing my consciousness while I wait for my new body to be built. So yeah, I have not watched Altered Carbon.
I know. It's one of those things I don't know why I haven't watched it.
It's just Netflix has so fucking many shows.
It was like on my short list for a while, and then 18 more shows came out. And I was
Yeah,
just
like it pops up on your thing where it's
Yeah.
like, hey, check out Altered Carbon.
It's like,
And
I would love to.
and like, there's 3 days you're going to see that, and then you are never going to be able to find it again unless
Well,
you search specifically for it.
Yeah, I mean, I just throw things on my list, but I mean, like, I literally not bailed. I got distracted midway through the Defenders, so now I have to like finish the Defenders, watch Punisher, watch Jessica Jones season 2, and it's like this shit is piling up quickly, and it's like I feel like by the time I hit play on Jessica Jones, another Marvel show will be done and out, and it's like fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, I like content, but Christ,
Yeah,
scale it back a little.
fucking
You
slow
need to transcend
down.
completionism.
Yeah.
Do I?
Yes.
Okay. If I was going to do that, I would go back in time and unwatch Iron Fist.
Aw.
Well, you can't do that. But
I know.
It's not too late to unwatch the rest of whatever it was you're watching. Defenders.
It wasn't that even like I didn't like it. It wasn't clicking with me at the time. It's hard to explain. Like so a lot of times, I like Breaking
Some
Bad.
shows do that, man.
Breaking Bad, it's never hit me on a cycle where I'm like, I'm into this. Like this is what I want to be watching right now. I keep meaning to go back.
Yeah.
Like just one time it's gonna happen. I'm like, yeah, I get it now.
Yeah, and
Oh, I get it.
yeah, with me so often, and I'm sure it's like this for Chuck too, where it's like there's shows Jen wants to watch, and sometimes I'm just like, you know what, you can watch that Wednesdays when I'm doing BMFcast.
Yeah.
And then there's other shows where it's like, don't watch Atlanta until I get back. You know, that sort of thing. Where there's certain shows where they click, and then other ones where I'm just like, you know, I'm enjoying this, but it's just not working for me right now. Like Corporate was one of that. She fucking loved Corporate on Comedy Central. And was like, you need to watch all of these. And, you know, the PowerPoint episode is by far the best one I watched out of the ones out of that group. But I was like, this isn't working for me the way it's working for you, you know? And I think sometimes it just works like that, where there's a show you have to be in the right mood for it.
That's one just to mention. I binged my way through that, and that's another thing. It's like that is so much better made than it should be for a comedy. Again, just talking about comedies that is like we're not eschewing making good cinema choices.
Yeah. But we have a pretty good rule, which is basically like, let's watch the first episode together, and then we will make a decision. Do you want to keep going? I don't want to keep going. Do we both want to keep going? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
I think Tyrant was like that on FX.
Yeah.
She loved Tyrant.
Yeah.
And I was like, the first few episodes, I'm like, this is kind of working for me, but God, I hate his kids so much, and I like the rest of his family.
Yeah.
Just has this death wish.
Yeah.
And like I just couldn't get over that. There was a point where I was just like, you know what? I'm not watching this anymore because I just get angry as soon as his family shows up.
It just became 24 level sport for us to yell at his kids the whole time.
Yeah.
It was just like, my God, go home, leave, fucking leave.
Yeah, just go
Everyone
back to
around you
America.
is dying. You're in imminent danger all the time. Fucking go home.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
we just would
So-
scream at the TV. That
There's-
became sport for
There's
us.
too much good fucking television.
There
right
really
now.
is.
It's,
Yeah,
it's
that's the other
annoying.
thing.
It kind of is.
Like, I mean, there's so many things I hear about that I'm like, that really sounds like my jam. Like, for years, people have been talking about Empire, and I'm like, I really want to watch that show.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
people fucking love Empire.
Yeah. Got Terrence Howard.
exactly. Well, it's Taraji P. Henson too. It's
Yeah.
a fucking Hustle and Flow reunion.
Yeah. And also, like, Terrence Howard's on like 6 other shows too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's all these weird like
he's a busy
12
man.
episode
Hey,
shows they do now.
He missed out on the Marvel movies. He ejected before they
Yeah.
got huge.
Yeah, he
So
did.
he's like, man, I got to do something else now.
I'll build my own empire.
Yeah.
Oh wait.
All right. Next email up, is from Seth, who says, Second Chances is the name of the email. It says, hey guys, it's Seth from North Carolina.
Hi.
Thank you for getting to the Taking of Beverly Hills. I'm sincerely glad you enjoyed it as much as your fans thought you would. Several weeks/months ago, you guys discussed giving you movies you didn't like a second viewing to see if your opinion would change. I listened and thought that maybe I should do the same. Boy, am I angry that I did that. Alien Covenant is still crap. A big, festering, open sore of pus-infused crap. According to my wife, who was in an entirely separate part of the house, I shouted, shoot him, Billy Crudup. Shoot David in his stupid face now. Around 20 times before turning the movie off. I cannot do it, gentlemen. I tried to be forgiving, understanding, and willing to give second chances, but sometimes movies and people need 2 kicks in the crotch instead of a break. Has the second chance offering burned you guys before, too? If so, what movie made you curse your kindness? Crash and burn, Seth.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes my opinion completely changes, and sometimes it's like, yep, no, I still fucking hate that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
Yeah.
Seth kind of fucked up. He didn't put enough time between viewings of Alien Covenant.
Yeah. There's,
That's mistake
What,
number
like,
one.
like a lifetime.
No. But like, okay, so like I saw Prometheus in the theater, fucking hated it. Watched it again right before watching Alien Covenant, and was like, okay, I can appreciate things that Prometheus is doing. And then when Alien Covenant was over, was like, oh man, Prometheus is fucking great compared to this shit. So like, I will give stuff a second chance. If, for example, like when the next one in the series comes out, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's a good amount of time. But I also watched the Cloverfield Paradox twice in 1 week. So, and that wasn't giving it a second chance. That was, I need to make sure I wasn't like high or drunk after the Super Bowl and liked this when I shouldn't have. So,
I mean, I think I've said it before, but one of my top examples of like walking out of the theater actively angry at something, and now I mean, it's hyperbole to say it's one of my favorite movies, but it's up there. Like, I really totally appreciate it is Bram Stoker's Dracula. Like, fucking hated that coming out of the theater. I was on the what the fuck accent is Keanu doing? Fuck this, fuck that, and then like some time and watching all of the the things it aped or homaged or whatever you want to call, like watching all the original vampire things and going like, that's actually clever as hell. Like to wrap all of that up into one Dracula movie. I mean, and plus just appreciating it on like a cheesy level, like the overacting Gary Oldman level, like is my fucking jam now.
yeah.
I don't know.
yeah.
That movie rubs so many people the wrong way because
Sure.
no one was prepared for it.
Right.
Everyone still thought they were going to get, like cool cape-wearing Dracula, not weird bunhead Dracula.
Yeah.
And, it was just like, man, what is this? But time has probably been kind to that movie.
I like I said, I wouldn't put it in like a top something list, but I way warm to it that I actually own it on a couple of mediums.
Sure. And it inspired that awesome pinball table with Winona Ryder sex noises on it.
That's true, it did, and thank the Lord for that.
Yeah. I can't think of any that have really burned me. I think, my classic example is always like Goonies. Going back to that, I hated it as an adult.
Yeah.
And I was like, as a kid, I was like, man, this movie's great. And then as an adult, I was like, man, these kids are fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's some of that stuff. But
I mean, the Ice Pirates burned me. Like, I loved that movie as a kid, and then we did it, and I was just like, oh, guys, no, this is bad. So,
Well, I mean, I think to his point of like second chances not getting any better is, I mean, I walked out of Speed Racer and then we did it for the podcast, and I still fucking hate Speed Racer. Sorry, just
Speed Racer seems to be getting a renaissance, though. Like, people are like, there's a movement of people coming around on Speed Racer.
okay.
Because, I mean, that movie made $12, so
Yeah.
no one
well,
saw
I mean,
it
that
anyway.
one scene. Please get rid of that one scene. Like, give us a non-director's cut. Give us a fan's cut where they just take that fucking scene in the factory out.
Yeah, that was one of the most, like, there have been two moments in my life where there have been complete and total nonverbal agreements made with, like, just literally a look. One of them was we were gonna jokingly go see the Spice World movie, and we're walking, like, me and two friends. We were walking to the theater, and like a minivan pulled up right, to like the drop-off area. Door swings open. About 6 girls get out going, and it was like we all just kind of went and about faced and like, just drove the fuck home. Like literally walking into the theater, and it was like nope.
Yeah.
And then that scene happened in Speed Racer, and Shining Light Steve Stroll and I just like gave a quick glance, and we just stood up and walked the fuck out of that theater. And it was like, yep.
Yeah. I like a lot of that movie, but yeah, that scene
It's colorful.
can eat a huge D.
It's got some colors.
Yep.
It's colorful.
Do you want to play us a voicemail next?
Sure.
Do the 7701, please.
I don't know what number was what. I didn't know
It's
we were
the
doing
one from today.
it. Okay, so.
Hey, BMFcast. It's me, Evan from the stream. Blub, blub. You guys wanted to keep Garfield company or wanted us to keep him company, so just wanted to call and congratulate you guys on making it past 9 years. That's kind of a feat. I mean, one of my favorite podcasts and from freaking NPR just ended, so you guys outlasted a intellectual, pretentious, boring podcast, so way to go. But seriously, Harlow, Mackie, DJ, Chuck, I look forward to your podcast every week, and of course, BMFcast Extra on Patreon.com. So that was it. Just wanted to call to say how awesome you guys are and how you're going to keep on staying awesome, especially in these times. So stay cool. All right, crash and burn. Evan out.
Thanks, Evan.
Yeah.
Thanks for kissing our ass for a minute and a half,
my
Evan.
ego is spent.
Wow.
I appreciate the Patreon plug, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/BMFcast.
Yeah. Get it right next time or pay the price.
So, next email. It's been a while since we've done email, so I have,
all right.
Yep.
I have to issue an apology for this one.
Okay.
This is from Steve like the Bird Heron.
Uh-huh.
I have dishonored my family.
Oh, right.
Steve sent this before the Academy Awards happened.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
This came in exactly a month ago, so I feel bad because I didn't read it then. So it's a little dated, but I'm reading it anyway because Steve put some heart into this.
And podcasts are timeless, like movies.
Yes.
Yeah. So just imagine that you heard this before the Academy Awards happened. So it's from your friend and mine, the noble Steve like the Bird Heron, the noble heron.
Oh my God! Just fucking read it.
King Steve
Yes,
of the Noble House Heron.
Vlad the Destroyer.
The honorable heron.
We need to be hearing this right now.
Yes. All right. He says, BMFcast, Steve like the Bird here with a little squawk and such. Long time, no correspondence. Sorry about that. College is a bitch in terms of free time. Mackie, stay hydrated. This one's a rambler. The Academy Awards are coming up this week, and love them or hate them, they're without a doubt still one of the most influential forces in the film industry. The Oscars don't get a ton of mentions here, with good reason. It's a bad movie podcast, after all. But two genres that are near and dear to the BMFcast heart both got decent representation from the Academy this year, that being horror and science fiction. Shape of Water was the early frontrunner, and Get Out seems to be the people's champion. If genre films get any sort of credit from the Oscars, it usually comes in technical awards for special effects, makeup, etc. But rarely do they get to play in the big leagues. There are exceptions, though. In terms of horror, both The Exorcist and Jaws got Best Picture nominations in the 70s. Ruth Gordon and Kathy Bates both won their only Oscars for acting in horror films, those being Rosemary's Baby and Misery. Of course, there's Silence of the Lambs, which is one of only 3 movies to go home with the Big Five, Best Picture included. But honestly, there's a lot of debate if you could call it horror. Many would consider it a thriller, or even just a crime film. Most people lump it in because it's the only one to actually take home the statue, and it gives some street cred to the genre as a whole. One major distinction is that Lambs and Get Out both share is that they were February releases, which is extremely uncommon for a Best Picture winner to have that early a release. It's something to consider. All hope isn't lost for Get Out. Sorry, Steve. Science fiction, on the other hand, has never had a Best Picture win. And considering what we know now about Woody Allen, Annie Hall beating out Star Wars really seems like a whiff on the Academy's part. But in recent years, the genre has gotten a lot of recognition in terms of nominations. Since the increase to 10 movie noms, Best Picture noms, sci-fi movies have frequently been nominated more and more. Avatar, District 9, Inception, Gravity, Her, The Martian, and Arrival have all been nominated in the past decade, and some went home with other major wins. Her for screenplay and Gravity for director, etc. The Academy has seemed to warm up to the idea of giving a science fiction film the big gold bald guy, and considering Shape of Water won at the Producers Guild Awards, there's still a strong chance that it takes home the statue.
Very strong.
Could happen.
It's a very strong chance of that. In the end, does any of this matter? No, not really. But it can be a hell of a lot of fun if you don't get too invested, and it's exactly the type of useless information that my geeky brain goes nuts for. Let's hope that this year's Oscars can lead to more representation for genre films in the future. Crash and Burn, Steve Let the Bird Out, sent via an old Columbia House catalog.
I don't remember what won in its place, or even if this was even nominated. But to me, the single science fiction thing that is the biggest snub of all time is 2001.
Yeah.
I mean, because just on every level, that's a fucking masterpiece of literally everything.
Yeah. And tying back to the previous email, that's one that I hated the first time I watched that movie. I was like, I don't fucking get this at all.
Well,
and now I'm like, I want to pour over that movie
I got to be honest. I skip the Dawn of Man sequence every time. I mean, I don't not appreciate what's going on there, but like it's just a thing. Like every single time, I actually know the minute mark to skip ahead to when because I've done it so many times.
Just to see the bone turn into the shit.
Yeah, like I literally just like 19.
Yeah. But that not getting it, there's so many, like, I'm still mad that Children of Men just wasn't even considered. I know there's just a lot of stuff that so many of my favorite movies are science fiction movies, and so many of them have something to say as well, which you would think the Academy would want. But
I mean, just give it to Alien, and then you have your horror and science fiction winning an Oscar.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect fucking movie. So,
but I mean, I know it's not technically science fiction, but Lord of the Rings, was, I mean, that's a big fantasy thing. That's a genre picture. So.
Yeah,
I mean, winning for the last one also just felt like a pat on the head for.
It was good job making
good
8
job
hours
for
of this.
like all of those together in this one.
Yeah,
it is. I mean, that was the. I don't know. That's when the Oscars felt super pandering. That era was like, oh, how do we swing where people still care about this?
Avatar didn't win, right? Even though there was talk that it might have.
No,
I can't remember now.
Titanic's the only thing Cameron ever won Best Picture for.
Yeah, no.
But I mean, it gets weird over the years. Like Star Trek 4 was up for 4 Oscars. 2 wasn't up for any. And you just look back in time and go, man, what?
Well, and that's the thing too. Like me talking about Avatar. People don't really remember. All it really can do is boost up a movie that you may have forgotten about. But it also, the movies that are truly good will always endure. Everyone. I think Shakespeare in Love is a good movie. That is a very enjoyable, well-made movie.
It is.
Saving Private Ryan is a better movie.
Correct.
And the fact that it didn't win is just weird. But it's like when people talk about a movie from 1998, they talk about Saving Private Ryan. They don't talk about, just like we're not talking about Oliver, we're talking about 2001.
I've never even seen Oliver.
Yeah, and clearly Star Wars. Nobody talks about Annie Hall anymore.
Somewhat. I mean. Yeah.
But I mean, it's just there's something about what the Academy is looking for, and it's almost like the whole thing we were talking about with critics earlier, where they're like they want this thing and they don't want to kind of go against the groupthink necessarily. And I feel like the internet has kind of almost made that worse because it's. I suspect with the voting, there's almost a thing like, well, everyone expects us to vote for this. And everyone wants us to vote for Get Out, but we can't just give it to Get Out because that would, I don't know.
It
And
never
the
makes
thing
sense.
is it's all just all these old people voting on it.
Yeah.
So many of them who haven't even fucking seen any of the movies.
Yep.
You know, they get sent a dozen screeners a day in the months leading up to the Best Picture.
There's
And it's
always
like-
been
and
stories
it
over
ends
the
up being,
years.
oh yeah, I heard the post is pretty good.
Yeah,
you know,
but it's always like, I gave my ballot to my nephew. You know, I mean, there's always stories like that of just like, yeah, I mean,
Or they send a better gift basket, or they put a bigger ad in Variety, or
Yeah.
all kinds of bullshit.
Or-
It's a
or
fucking
the
beauty
producer's
pageant.
my friend, or you know, I mean, just it's weird. I don't. Once you really learn about how the Oscars work, is when I
Yeah,
stop
it's gross.
paying any attention to it. Because as a kid, I was heavily invested in it because I was like, I hadn't seen Gandhi, but I saw E.T. 8 times in the theater and was like, no, E.T. is the best movie ever. Fuck Gandhi.
well, and I mean,
Well, that's the thing a lot of 8-year-olds come to.
Absolutely, I was mad.
yeah. But also back then, like when I used to care and watch it, like it made me want to make a movie.
Yeah.
There are so many, you know, seeing people give acceptance speeches and going like, I can't believe I beat this other movie, you know.
I'm
You know,
just dying.
whatever cinematographer going up there going, I can't believe I beat Roger Deakins.
Yeah.
He just, you know that sort of shit.
Yeah.
It just made me it inspired me to want to make movies, but since I'm not making them, I don't fucking watch the Oscars anymore.
Yeah.
Because I don't really care. It's almost like baseball. Like, I don't mind checking the paper and going, all right, oh, good, the Twins won. You know, cool. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of it. That's kind of how the Oscars are for me. Like, the next morning going, oh, cool, Shape of Water won. I liked that movie.
Yeah.
And Roger Deakins finally won. Good. That's cool.
Yeah.
Wait, Baby Driver didn't get shit? What the fucking fuck?
Yeah.
What the shit?
Yeah.
Didn't get sound editing? Did get what? Oh, Dunkirk. Yeah, okay. I hope they at least mix this one so you could hear dialogue, Christopher Nolan. Did you do that right this year? You fucking shit. Anyway.
Yeah.
That has Kevin Spacey in it. That means it's 100% bad.
Right.
That's the way we work now.
Yep.
Ooh, I have heard that. Damn it.
Well, it's just, we're in absolute territory now.
Mhm.
But
All
no, I mean, like, and we this is going back to, I think, last episode or two ago, is like, sometimes the Oscars are a disservice. I mean, the blowback for Shape of Water is already happening as people that
Yeah.
wouldn't have watched that movie are now watching it, going, what the fuck, fish fucker.
Yeah.
Yes.
Spawn some good memes.
Spawn.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing about the Best Picture is some people just don't want to think about a movie. And, you know, some movies, you need to think about them. So,
True.
anyway. One more voicemail,
Oh, right.
and then we'll be done.
Nope, that's the wrong one. You had me play them out of order, so I named
Sorry.
numbered them.
Hey guys, I have listened to your podcast off and on for years, ever since you guys got started, and I started watching a lot of your podcasts on YouTube, and I had a question that I think you guys might be able to answer. I was born in 1985, and we had got satellite dish when I was 5 or 6 years old, and I have been searching for this movie, and I know it was on the HBO channel, and I don't know if I dreamed it up or if this is a real movie, but I cannot forget this one scene. There's a pregnant woman tied down to a table, and she's completely naked, and there's this gigantic spider that is crawling on top of her. And I seen that scene when I was like 5 or 6 years old on a movie on HBO, and I have never to this day have figured out what movie this was from. And I was hoping maybe, since y'all guys watch a lot of B movies, maybe this was some type of B movie that was bought by HBO a long time ago. So if I had to guess, it probably was on television. It was probably on HBO, like maybe like 1991 or two. And I was wondering if you guys could kind of put your heads together and see if you could find out what this movie was called. Thank you very much. And I will keep watching you guys on YouTube.
Thanks, anonymous caller. I want to play that because I don't know what it is. I've tried to do some research, could not find anything, which I'm sure he's done the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I wanted to pose it to Chuck,
Mm-hmm.
but I also wanted to pose it to the audience because you looking at your face, it does not ring any bells whatsoever.
No, and I tried looking at some things to figure out exactly what this was. Okay, so there's a scene in Buckaroo Banzai where Ellen Barkin is tied to a table, and they have put this robotic spider creepy thing on her. They've got like this trail of honey going up of her body to get to kill her or whatever. That, as soon as I heard that, that was the first thing that popped into my mind, and maybe as a kid it morphed into like, oh, she's pregnant and naked and everything like that. Buckaroo Banzai was on cable a lot, so I thought maybe that could be it.
Yeah.
But man, I just with those specific parameters doesn't, like, I couldn't go to what that's where my brain went, was that scene in Buckaroo Banzai.
Yeah. So. And I thought about Extro, which actually Evan in the chat mentions too.
Yeah.
Extro, but I haven't seen that in so long. I could not speak to if that happens or not, but there's some weird pregnancy type shit going on in Extro.
I don't remember a lot about Extro.
Yeah. But we'll pose it to the audience.
Sure.
And
we have a great group to, to pose this to. All of you guys out there are big fucking nerds like us, but your experiences are varied.
Yep.
So,
I'm sure there's somebody listening who's like, "Oh man, I know what that is."
Call, tweet, email, send us a message through Patreon, get on our Discord, and
I mean, right now we're leaning towards Extro.
Yeah.
Because I can neither confirm nor deny that's it. But there's a lot of weird fucked up shit in Extro, so
yeah.
And it was about pregnancies and stuff like that. So
yeah. But if they do want to email us,
BMF@BMFcast.com.
The only other fucked up pregnant woman thing I can think of is The Brood. You said you watched Cronenberg's Brood, but it's not like a spider.
No.
I mean, it's just weird demon shit.
Yeah, dude.
Sorry, I'm still thinking
pulling
about
out placentas and stuff. Yeah.
Placentas.
Anyway.
Placenta of a woman.
So if they want to email us, gross. They want to email us at BMF@BMFcast.com. If they want to call in the Garfield phone,
9105-JOCKS-BMF or 910-556-9263.
And if they want to find us on the socials,
BMFcast.com, look at the buttons on the right-hand side. They're all right there. Also, all of the episodes are available on BMFcast.com. It also has a link to our Patreon, which is patreon.com/BMFcast. Give us some fucking money so we can continue to do this.
And get stuff for it.
Yeah,
yes.
I was getting there.
Get bonus stuff. You're not just giving us money. We're giving you something back.
Get bonused.
Yes.
With patreon.com/BMFcast.
And if you want to discuss Altered Carbon with Jay in the spoiler zone on our Discord server.
Yes, go to bmfcast.com and look for the Discord button on the right-hand side and join us. And we have a bunch of channels where you can talk about some bullshit.
Yeah, you can just come talk. You don't have to talk about Altered Carbon.
Yeah, talk about whatever you want.
Talk about
we have all different topics, things that I've muted, like sport ball and
Discord.gg/we don't have a custom URL yet.
Like a bunch of letters and numbers. Just type it. Just punch your keyboard and you might get there.
All right.
Punch your keyboard and think about us.
Yeah.
Well, let's get out of here, shall we?
All right.
I'm Harlow.
I'm Mackie.
Oh, I'm BJ.
I'm Chuck.
And this is BMFcast out. See you next week.
BMFcast.
Oi.
Motherfuckers.
BMFcast.
All right, friends.
Closing it out with a bang. Bang.
Bing.
A
bing.
Bing. Bing.
The search engine
Bing.
for the boobs.
Big boobs.
Bang.
Yeah,
Bang.
you gotta use Bang.
Bing.com.
Tits.
Cam.
Tits and bing.
Bing.
Safe search off.
Bingers and mish. The
Way
show
to end it strong, Chuck.
that show with Alan Alda.
What? I'm confused. Oh, MASH. Yeah, okay.
talking about
Jesus
Rizzoli and
Christ. You fucking Pat, the choose your own adventure of this shit. It's just getting a little out of whack here. placenta woman.
That's a good joke, and you know it.
It is. That's why I was having
a
the
lot of
choke
shit.
back laughter.
We need a bonus episode with some of this bullshit.
I think that might.
that might have to happen.
I think a sporadic BBS might shoot up out of that.
Yeah. All right. I'll see you cats later.
Yeah,
Bye.
cat.
Whew.
Yep. All right. Taking us offline.
That's a
We
podcast.
our tanks are empty, and thanks for stopping by.
Thanks. Thank you very much. G'day, mates.
Yes. Or yeah, it probably is day there or something.
It is.
Time's opposite or something.
You're right. Time is because of the Coriolis
yeah,
effect.
the
Time
sun
goes backwards.
The sun
in
like goes into the
Australia.
earth and then
Australia.
comes out, and I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, people walk on the ceiling like Lionel Richie's from Australia.
It's breaking two down there.
Jamiroquai is from Australia.
Yeah, Jamiroquai is from Australia. Yeah,
That's how he can walk upside
Jamiroquai.
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 You won't say it, right? Jamiroquai.
Jamiroquai. My, man, that's. I have a hard time saying Jamiroquai in regular ass English.
Sort of like trying to suddenly do Shaggy lyrics as Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. When you're like, I know all the lyrics, but not like, how do I do them in this voice?
Like she came in and caught me red-handed, dude.
Well, they called me Mr. Boombastic. Simply fantastic.
Like it wasn't me.
Just call me Angel of the Morning Angels. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, night, bye.
All right, goodbye, internet.